break down the walls of conformity with Hotline League episode 51, which is starting right now. We're going to talk about North America getting out of quarters into semifinals. We got Kelby Mayer on the show, who's public enemy number one right now. I mean, it was Nate Shot. Before that, it was NALCS Pros. Before that, it was Analyst Desk. Now we're to Kelby, and he's live on the show tonight for you guys to yell at. It's so pumped. We're not going to be talking about quarters because guess what? I'm going to TwitchCon. A lot of people angry about that, but it doesn't matter because Hotline League episode 51 starts right now. Okay. Well, guys, I do want to say this is where we would have a mystery sponsor plug, or, where they'll pop up. But we are sponsored this show, so shout out to the mystery sponsor. I am joined right now by two lovely men. One of them is Mark Zimmerman. Mark, how you doing?
Great. Super duper great.
Yeah.
I'll be going to TwitchCon. And while I'm there, I'll be doing something with you, something with Offline TV, and something with Rito Games.
Nice. Well, we can say...
I a lot to say that.
Yeah, we can say what we're doing.
You do this, so I don't say too much.
Yeah.
Or just get it wrong, because I actually have no fucking clue.
Yeah, Mark has no clue what's going on. I would say this later on, but just because some people might only see this part. We're doing a live Hotline League on Friday at 4 to 6 at the Alienware booth. We looked around for different stages at TwitchCon, tried to find a location, and Alienware has a setup that's going to help us do that. So, thank you to Alienware for giving us your setup, and we'll be doing that live. If you didn't see the live Hotline League in Miami, it'll should be Mark and I sitting in chairs. Hopefully Kelby will be there, but Kelby just, he goes, oh, I'll let you know, or maybe I'll show up, or whatever. He will not give me any information. You can tell what his priorities are at. So there's another reason to hate him on top of all the other reasons you guys hate him right
now. You don't need that many, but he keeps giving them.
And hopefully we can grab some guests, but also we'll be pulling members of the audience on stage to talk to us and be part of the show. And that'll be for 2 hours. I think the convention center hall closes at 6. So that is what we'll be doing. And because of that, we're not going to be talking too much about semifinals and semifinal predictions on this show, because we're going to be doing that on that show. But there's actually a ton of stuff that's happened in the past week that we can talk about. So anyway, if you're attending TwitchCon, please check out the Alienware booth 4 to 6 on Friday. Next up, we got Kelby. Kelby, what's going on?
Not much. Just chilling, really enjoying Worlds. Despite being frequently wrong. The games have been super, super entertaining, which we've been, talking about. I've watched pretty close to darn near every game this World Championship, which is the first time I've done that since probably, I don't know, Season 3.
Have you been watching them live?
4. Yeah, live.
Jesus.
Yeah. I've wrecked my sleep schedule. I took a 3.5-hour nap before this show because, I stay up late watching stuff. There was ESL Hamburg matches last night, and then I have early calls and work throughout the day, and then take a nap and come back and do.
So you're basically polyphasic.
Yeah, I assume that's a description of me. I don't know what it means, but it sounds right.
Multi-phase sleeping.
What type of calls and work are you doing, Kelby?
Man. I'm not ready to reveal it yet, Travis.
Oh, okay.
Even though you know the answer.
Oh, no, I mean, I don't know the answer.
Yes, you do.
I'm in the
You're my
dark
best
as
friend.
much as everybody else. Let's move on. Mark, have you fixed your sleep schedule, or are you, did you just wake up? Because you're in a weird position. You're not on the broadcast anymore, but you're watching the games.
I'm pretty much fixed right now. I basically, this weekend, slept 5 hours a night, and then, super crashed last night at 12 and got up at 11 today, so pretty back to normal. Did it mostly because I knew TwitchCon was happening and I need to be pretty regular.
Yeah. By the way, do you guys want to watch? We should find a viewing party, or at least all watch together or something whenever we're in San Jose.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be some room or something.
Oh, I'm super down.
Okay, cool. That's neat. All right. Let's get into the show. I'm in Tokyo right now, so and I'm in a hotel room. I did some testing last night, and the hotel internet connection held up fine, but hopefully it continues to hold up okay. Twitch chat just spamming in all capital letters. Kelby said C9 had a 0% chance of making it out of groups. Lol.
Yeah.
They're just spamming that. So we are going to... Kelby is going to get dunked on this show. It's going to be great.
So who shall be doing the dunking?
I don't know. Us?
Probably the callers?
Everyone? I don't know. The guy who originally called in DM'd me. If anybody knows Steven_St. Louis Blues, STL Blues, on Twitter, he messaged me and was like, "Hey Travis, I was Nox the caller for the C9 video you recently posted. Next time you have Hotline League, if it's soon, I would like to be able to come on so people stop hating on Kelby as much. I don't know if it's actually as bad as the comments make it out, but he shouldn't get as much crap in my opinion. It was a hot take for a reason, haha. Thanks and keep up all the amazing work." And I said,
Whoa, what's that reasonable reaction?
I said, yeah, we're doing it in an hour. You want to come on? He didn't reply. And I said, let me know. No reply. Then I said, hello, we're live. And then I said his name, which I won't say. And then I said, show up in chat. And, yeah, it's weird. Anyway. Nice alt account, Kelby, somebody says. All right. Let's get this show going. What do we have to talk about? So, obviously, we've got the historic quarterfinals that took place a couple days ago.
So about that, there's obviously the historic quarterfinals, but the question is, how historic is it? Right? Because I set off an argument on Twitter, or at least on my timeline, about whether season 1 was Worlds or not.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't care if it's Worlds, but you don't count it, in my opinion.
Well, so everyone thinks, do you want to get into this? Because I have a bit of a spiel. I did a lot of research on this topic. I thought about making my own video, but I was like, I'll give Travis this so he can cut it out.
Yeah, I mean...
You want me to do it now or do it at the end of the show so I don't derail the audience?
No, we can do it now, because we usually have the first 20 or so minutes to ourselves to talk about this stuff, and I don't think we would get a call about it, so...
yeah, I wouldn't think so.
But also, if you tweet out Mark, I'll retweet you. I don't know if you have yet. Oh, you
I just tweeted that 2 minutes ago.
Okay, cool. So what's your take?
All right, so I tweeted out season 1's not Worlds, yada yada yada. A lot of people agreed. The vast majority of people who didn't were, not surprisingly, EU fans. But I think even EU fans shouldn't want it to count. So this is going to be kind of.
I'm worried. I'm worried for you, Mark, because the last time you picked a
if
fight
they
with
disagree,
EU fans, it was great for viewership. We got #1 on the sub. It was fantastic. But maybe not good for your reputation in...
I'm not attacking EU fans here.
Okay.
That was some disparaging comments about EU fans. This is not about the EU fans. It's about trying to convince them why that they should actually probably care that season 1 doesn't count as a Worlds.
Okay.
And then why it isn't a Worlds. So there's two arguments here. If you're an EU fan and you're watching this right now, hear me out. I'll start by saying why you should care, and then I'll get into why it wasn't a Worlds. All right. History can only happen one time. You can't be a world first twice. And the reason I think EU fans should care right now is because you are taking that history and world first away from the current players who are actually making history. You can't say Fnatic is the first team to make finals or the first European team to win finals, and you might say, oh, Fnatic already won, but Caps didn't win, right? It wasn't Broxa. Soaz wasn't on the team, right? He was actually on AAA at the time or something. I forget.
Yeah.
But Whippo wasn't there. It wasn't Reckless. It wasn't Hillisang. So it's not giving the current players the opportunity, when they retire, to be yeah, we were the first fucking Western team to win Worlds, right? If I was a player, I would want that. And if I was a fan of that team, I would want the player to have that, right? And so same for G2. If they're the first org to win a world championship, that should be their ability to say that. And if you give it to Fnatic in season 1 for something that was completely different, it takes that, title away from them. To me, that's messed up. It's not the end of the world, but I don't think that's how it should be. And if I was an EU fan, I would want the people who are actually making these incredible, monumental, historic achievements right now to get the credit they deserve, and to not have it swept away under a technicality. And maybe it doesn't care, but I think they would care. And I know they should care. And if Fnatic fans who like want that world championship to count, like we're not trying to say that that tournament didn't happen. Like you can have your skins. Fnatic should be celebrated for their long-standing history in the league scene. They can be in videos and all that stuff. It's totally fine. You can say that they were the season 1 champs. They were. There's nothing to take away from that. It's just that like when you say the first team to win a Worlds from the West, it shouldn't include season 1. And there's good reasons for that I'll get into right now. First off, it was not called the World Championship. It was just called Season 1 Championship. Now, you might think it's just a name and like what's their value in a name, but like that's how things work. Like when you officially title something the first one, that's the first one. And Season 1 Worlds was not officially that until like 3 or 4 years later when they went back to make the skins for it.
Wait, I thought it was. It was called Season 1 World It was Season 1.
It was just called the Season 1 Championship.
Oh, it wasn't called the World Championship.
Yeah, it was not even called the World Championship. It was just called Season 1 Championship.
Oh.
And like if you look at the messaging around it when it came out, like they did say like best teams in the world, yada yada yada, but that's not even true because Chinese teams existed back then and they were not allowed to compete in this. There was no qualifier for Chinese teams to contribute. So like yeah, so it was not a world championship in title. It was not a world championship in spirit where like everyone was invited. And the format was drastically different. There was a bigger difference between Season 1 and Season 2 than Season 2 and Season 8. It was only 8 teams. It was double elimination, which no world championship has ever had. And it was all best of 3, all the way up into and including the finals, which had a point allocated for whoever won first. So in that final, Fnatic actually only won a single game. AAA also won another game, but Fnatic had beat them earlier in the winners bracket, and so they were awarded a point. And that's how they won their first world championship, quote unquote. So like, it's nothing formatted like a regular championship that we have seen in the actual tournament series. It wasn't called Worlds at the time, and no, the world wasn't invited. Chinese teams were not competing at the tournament, even though they existed and had competed in previous tournaments. So like, it's not a world championship in any stretch. It was just called that in the past, as far as I can tell, by Riot after the event happened years later, because it sounded weird to have Season 1 just called Season 1 and not and have Season 2 be the first world championship. So they're just like, you know what, Season 1 was the world championship. Maybe it's just all branding, but to me, the tournament's really different. And like, a lot of people brought up FIFA because, you know, they're European fans, and they're like, well, FIFA, you know, when it started in 1930, the first World Cup had Uruguay, but like the rest of the world didn't come and compete in it, and there's like all this other stuff, yada, 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 about how it still counted, even though it was vastly different. And here's the thing. Like, tournaments will change over time. More regions will get represented. Same thing happened in FIFA. But what's really interesting, what FIFA did that I think League should have done, was FIFA actually organized the Olympics in 1924 and 1928 for soccer because that was like the beginning of international competitions. But they're not considered part of the World Cup. So Uruguay actually won the 1924 Olympics, the 1928 Olympics, and then won the first World Cup in 1930. But those aren't considered FIFA. Those are called FIFA World Championships, but they are not considered part of the World Cup. So FIFA officially recognizes Uruguay winning 4 FIFA championships. They're allowed to put 4 crests on their jerseys for the 1924 and 1928 Olympics, as well as the 1930 and the 1950 World Cups. But they've only won 2 World Cups. So like Season 1 Fnatic, you can say they were the Season 1 champions, but they don't have to be included in the part of Worlds. You can have these 2 separate things. And I think FIFA handled it perfectly because they were throwing tournaments for other people at the Olympics, but it was all organized by FIFA. And then when they started their own tournament series, they were like, this is the start of the tournament series known as the FIFA World Cup. That's all Riot had to do, but they like obviously went back and just called Season 1 Worlds, as far as I can tell. So like, it should just be Season 1 Championship and then Worlds from Season 2 onwards. And I'm not trying to take away anything from Fnatic or Europe. They were the best teams in that time, as far as we can tell. Totally fair. But I think it should not be considered current Worlds. Season 2 was the start of that because that's when they called it Worlds. That's when the format got closer to what it is now. That's when each region was actually being represented, and it wasn't what Season 1 was. So, like, you know, I'm not trying to take anything from Europe, but I'm trying to give the current players their due when they win the first World for the West, whenever that happens. Hopefully this year. Hopefully it's G2 or Fnatic. God forbid C9. You know what else, too? As an NA fan, like, to me, C9 is the first team to have ever won and gotten into quarter or in semifinals. But if you count season 1, TSM made semifinals. TSM 7 years ago was NA's first semifinalist. Does that sound ridiculous as an NA fan?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
it sound-
that's what maybe that's the concession that EU fans would have to make. It's like, all right, but you have
Right.
to know that TSM made it to semifinals, and they're like, oh, I don't want to say that. Fine, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's absolutely ridiculous. And no, as far as I could tell, no personality considers season 1 the actual like start of the Worlds. Like Kelsey, who's EU/LPL/ I don't even know what Kelsey is, didn't sound like she considered it. Chakarez and Broken Shard, both from EU, were straight up, yeah, that wasn't the first Worlds. Thorin doesn't consider season 1 Worlds. Like, no one considers it Worlds, really. And so I think it's I think it's sad for the pro players competing that, like, they don't get their credit as being like the first North American team to make semis and the first Western teams to make the finals, which is guaranteed to happen. Like, it's not about like NA versus EU. It's about giving the people who are actually going to set world first the title of world first.
Yeah. All right.
So that's my pitch. That's my pitch, European fans. I hope it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, I will probably, if this ever makes Reddit, be in the comments explaining more. But yeah, it's okay if you disagree. No hate.
All right.
And you can clip that for something else if you ever want, Travis.
Let's open the phones up. I
do
moved Mark Knox into the waiting room, our prophet.
Nice.
And you have 3 other people already in the waiting room, Mark.
Yeah, but we'll still do the pitch, right?
Yeah, we haven't even. But I'm just saying we haven't even opened up calls, and you're stacking people up.
Yeah, I was just grabbing people that had good topics as far as I could tell.
Okay, well, do the pitch.
Alrighty, so back to what the show is actually supposed to be. If you guys have not been here before, this is a call-in show for fans to come in and give their takes around League of Legends. I'm spamming in the Twitch chat right now with the Discord link. So there it goes. When you get here, there is a text channel, pleb topics or subtopics. In there, you're going to write down your takes, whatever it is. Try and be specific with what you want to talk about. Don't just say, I think C9 is doing really good this Worlds. Explain maybe more about it or something. And after you put your topic in, you're going to need to join the Pleb Calls or Pleb Calls 2 voice channels. And when you are in those, if I like your take, I will pull you from those voice channels into the waiting room where we'll do a mic check, make sure everything's working. So when it's your time to come on, you'll be able to join the air and talk about your topic.
Very good. Well, and just as for those that are subs, maybe you got gifted a sub recently, maybe you're looking at a Twitch Prime that is eligible for this channel right now, and you want to do that, you can link your Discord and your Twitch account so that you can get access to sub channel, and you can put your topic and subtopics. Doesn't guarantee you that you'll get in, but it does move a little slower, so maybe it's a little bit easier for you to land that. Mark, you want to just maybe pull maybe 2 or 3 people, and then we'll add 2 or 3 people to the waiting room, and then we'll do one more pass later on. I hate the fact that people have to be here at like the exact perfect time.
Yeah. I'll grab Nox so we can start the calls. I'll pull a couple more people, and then we'll grab more as people file in.
Very cool. Here, let me shout out some folks really quickly. All right, so I always try to read the subs, but I can't do it this time because so many people gifted so many, which is very generous. But Krispy Kreme 703 gifted 10, then Dom GGG gifted 6. It looks like. Wadabus subbed Gorgeth for 2 months. Ichiryu for 14 months. Might be my longest sub. I don't know. But thank you, Ichiryu. Krispy Kreme for gifted another 5 subs. Then you got I Revenge 3i. Sable Flag for 10 months. 10 months. Hell yeah. Shouting out Fenron as always for this one. Krispy Kreme gifted another one. Dom G gifted a tier 3 sub to Risen Lazarus, which again is beyond me. Asian Destination, Exponential, Hyperion TV, Banny Pawn. Hello, Bonnie. Resub for 6 months. And Little Kosh for 7. Still waiting on Mark. Real Foxy gifted a sub to Licorice. I'm sure when he gets back from winning Worlds, that will be the real prize that he gets. Krispy Kreme gifted another 5, which I think it's 20 for the show, which is kind of insane. McHugh for 10. Human Shoes for 2. Adidolion subbed with Twitch Prime. Shampoo 100 bits. Z Strangers with the Twitch Prime. Are we ready?
So, Yeah, Nox Paragon, the guy who's supposed to be here to collect his C9 credit, isn't responding.
Oh, okay.
We'll get him at some point.
All right. Otherwise, we're good to go.
Yeah.
You want to grab? Okay.
Yeah.
Karikes? Is that how it's pronounced?
It's Carrick's, or yeah, Carrick's is fine.
Okay. Carrick's is fine. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chicago.
Chicago. You don't sound happy about that. You're like, I'm calling from Chicago. It's
Actually, last time I was on, we literally had the same exact discussion. We had discussion about the name, and we had the same exact discussion about how I entered the call, I guess.
okay.
Your
Hey, man.
enthusiasm for Chicago?
And you
It is.
didn't try
I
to
love
bring
it.
any more enthusiasm this time?
Dude, it's just been a long day. It's just been a long day.
Yeah, but
Travis, stop messing with people for who they are, all right?
Yeah,
If
well,
he
I just
wants
mean he comes on the show, and then he's just kind of.
he's not a fucking YouTuber, dude. He doesn't need to come in here like, what's
Hey,
up,
guys.
guys? Happy to be here.
I'm just saying
It's Carrick's here
he's kind
with the
of.
new Fortnite gameplay.
I'm just saying he's kind of killing the vibe. You know, he's like, it's been a long day. Now I got to deal with this fucking show. All
coming
right,
from
here's my
Tri-City.
topic.
Chirac.
All right, what do you want to talk about? Carrots.
I was gonna talk about how Zix being acquired is like a really good addition to TSM, and that should really be the only roster change they should make.
Oh, the only
Okay,
one?
so only the roster
Yeah.
change is Zix. All right.
Wait, one second.
Wait, this has never happened before. We've been put on hold.
Sorry. All right, I'm ready.
What just happened?
I,
Yeah,
I
what did
shut
you
it
need
off.
the second for?
I just needed to take a sip of water. I
Oh,
might
Wait,
be talking for a while.
I think that's
Oh,
bullshit.
here we go. Okay.
I think
Alright.
your mom or somebody walked in the room or something because who's
I'll
like
be
one
honest,
second,
my dad
I
was
gotta
flashing
get
the
this
lights.
water.
I was kind of embarrassed. My dad's flashing lights, trying to
Okay,
get my attention.
whatever. Just fucking say your spiel.
All right. So I think with Zix being acquired, it kind of covers up like the biggest issue with this year's TSM team. I think that like the players were pretty vocal about it when it came to like not having an identity or like not being able to really discuss things among the team. And while I think that Song was actually a really good coach on IMT, I think him not being able to communicate with the players directly kind of prevented him from being able to coach to like his full potential. And then I think that like by the team failing together, like it's kind of different from like 2016 Worlds where like they failed together, and then like Double Up took that break, and like obviously there's high tension between the players. I think after that, even though I don't know, like the interviews are kind of awkward during that time. Like this year, every single player kind of seems like motivated, and they're grinding out a lot of solo queue. And like this is honestly the worst that's probably ever happened to these players, like individually. So like the bond that they will grow together, that I don't know if that makes sense. The bond that they will have together, like now that they're like want to work together and never fail again, is going to be better than like I think any of the TSM rosters there's ever been. And then the team still showed like extremely high highs when they did play well. But yeah, pretty much that's it.
What do you
and sorry, I think that the team, like individually, they might have played bad, but I think it's pretty similar to like how Sven Skaren looked on the team, where like you could tell there was communication issues, and like the team was just kind of on like a different page for every single player. So I think that was more of like a team issue than individual issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
I just think being a part of TSM has got to be cancer, man. Like that's just.
So let me ask you. Let me say some names, Carrix, and you tell me if like you wouldn't spring at that opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
Dardock.
Okay. You gotta be like realistic though. Like, do you really think he's gonna go to TSM?
What if TSM makes a trade offer for him? I'm just saying, like, what if?
Well, Dardock is like really the only jungler I feel like would be a good addition. Very vocal and like very.
What about
voice?
what if Smoothie became available?
No, I still think you keep Mithy.
Okay, so jungle is the only thing you would consider, probably.
even then, I think that like TSM kind of needs to train a jungler to be exactly what they want. I think that they've all like people will say that they killed the aggressive junglers. I don't really believe that. I think that it came down to like the pressure hitting the team too hard. But with Grig, it seems like they all are very like they're reinforcing him a lot, and it seems like compared to other players where they had like a history beforehand, um, there's like not that pressure for him to perform because everyone thinks he's shit, and that like I don't think he's as bad as people make him look to be. Um, but once he kind of starts hitting his stride, I think that he will end up being a really good jungler.
I don't know, Kelby.
I personally really.
Go ahead,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Travis.
No, I was gonna say actually it's good. I should say this first because I know what you're gonna say, Kelby. It's a good follow up because you're gonna be like,
okay.
I personally really like Zix. I hired him. Meh, meh, meh. So my thought is, I actually am not sure. So setting aside if they should make other roster changes, I love Tony, but he had a pretty bad year as a coach on CLG. The results did not look good. I think Song had better results with TSM than Tony did with CLG, if you think about it. I mean, we're taking a coach from a team that was at times the worst in the league, potentially, and bringing him to TSM and expecting him to fix everything. I mean, Tony has a really long history of this, but I think it's weird that I think a lot of people are like, yeah, get Song out of here. He sucked this year. Bring Tony in, the guy who, also sucked this year. So, I don't know, and I worry for Tony's ability to succeed on this team because I think in the past, like, he's only had to deal with really Afro and Peter as far as like big egos go. I think TSM's going to be a whole nother monster. I mean, he is literally pendulum swinging from like one of the teams with like the most passive, chill personalities to maybe one of the teams with the most aggro. So, I personally feel like TSM has performed best at times when they're all at each other's necks. So, I I'm just really there's a really good chance this sixth thing is going to go great, and I feel like there's another chance that it's just going to flop hard. So I'm really interested.
I would actually say that I agree with Travis almost entirely.
Good save.
So
this is Kelby's new tactic on the show. He's just going to like, yes, I agree with Mark. Oh, I agree with Travis.
I doubt Kelby is such a wuss.
No, he's not.
I don't think Kelby gives a fuck what the league community thinks.
No. Yes.
Thank you, Mark. But no. So what you were saying is right, Travis, in that I did hire Tony and bring him into CLG. But what I was going to say to that effect is, I think you hit the nail on the head where when I knew Tony, and like, granted, I haven't known Tony for any of his head coaching career. When I knew Tony, he was like the coach of the team, but you wouldn't really say that he had like the head coach role that teams do now. As far as like sort of more of like the emotional leader of the squad, he does not have, as you noted, like a very boisterous or bold personality. I think, in my experience with Tony, I worry that large egos can override him, and that maybe he's a little bit too passive for that. Whereas with the CLG rosters that he did have success, as you know, like those are way more backseat guys. I think a lot of the reason that Afro succeeded as emotional leader on CLG is because Peter got out of there, and Peter succeeded really well on TSM. And for the same reason, I think that Mark Z identified Dardoch would succeed on TSM is because that's a balancing of a lot of big egos, and a lot of people like Peter and Dardoch, when they are paired with other big egos and players they respect, they actually kind of balance out. I would worry for a patch in which Tony goes to TSM. They have a lot of big, players who have command a ton of respect just from their presence in the room and what they've done. Things don't go well, and he starts to get questioned by the players for what they're doing, especially since, if CLG fans will recall, Tony had a really interesting reputation, I think, over his history as a head coach at CLG, where on the outside, a lot of people looked to Tony as like one of the biggest success forms of CLG, but within his own community and subreddit, Tony was the person who often got called out the most and was asked most frequent, like had the most bipolar relationship with the community as far as like, these drafts are shit, you know, like they would really go from like one spectrum to the other with Tony. It was really weird. So like if I would be scared of the same thing happening with TSM where like the community's calling him out for having poor drafts. You know, players are reading that on Reddit. It gets into the back of their mind. They start like challenging him, and his personality is not one, at least in my experience, that would deal really well with big personalities challenging him. Granted, it's been a couple years. He's gotten more experience, but yeah, that would be the one concern I would have about that scenario. But
Yeah.
I also just do think it's fucking hilarious that you have those logs leak, and then you go to that organization.
Well, I mean, in his post in the comment, he said that was, I think he was already basically at TSM when those logs leaked, which is
Oh, really?
got to be pretty awkward. Or, like, at least the deal was
That's-
close to it. He said that the conversation took place a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wait, did I misread it? I thought he was saying the Discord conversation took place a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the logs, yeah.
Yeah. So like he actually probably didn't enter talks into TSM. Like wasn't that far along in the talks at TSM when those logs leaked.
Oh, maybe. Okay, maybe I misunderstood them.
Yeah.
I might have misunderstood. I didn't actually read his thing that closely.
Yeah.
I was like PR, whatever. Get me out of here.
I think
To get
those
back to the...
logs-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, caller.
I was just gonna say, I think those logs are just more talking about like the community, like having that much pressure on you is what I think what he meant by the cancer. And I don't think he meant like the community itself. Or, I mean the team itself.
Sure,
Because-
that's a good save
Yeah.
for everyone involved
Well,
to lean back
haven't
on.
like most players who've left TSM said like it was a good organization.
No, Sven said that when he left, he was feeling a lot more calm, that he liked the vibe on C9 more, it was a better fit. Bio said that when he left CLG, it's like a more friendly group of people. Peter
think
heavily
everyone-
like normally when people leave, they're like they feel less stressed and like the vibe is better. So I'm not convinced that it's just because of the fans, but it's a really nice thing that everyone gets to say so that we don't have to worry about what it means.
So my only concern with Carrick's point is like I think that there is something that might be fundamentally wrong with the current TSM roster if you don't change anything with like how we see the game evolving right now. Like at Worlds, like aggression is being so heavily rewarded. Everyone fucking loves it. Riot loves it as far as I'm aware. Like everyone is happy with how the game looks right now, and like I think you can expect the game to continue rewarding aggressive play. And like right now, TSM don't have a single aggressive player on their roster, except maybe Haunter, and he has been underperforming for the better part of the last year. So like, I'm concerned about like who on this team is going to be the first guy that like flashes in. It's not Sven and it's not Bjergsen, two of your carries. It might be Mithy, but like if it feels like they have a different approach to the game, and they could use someone who will be like their jump starter in a lot of these plays. And that's why like I asked about Dardoch and Smoothie, two aggressive role players right now that you could swap in around those carries pretty easily. So like I think Tony will do a lot to help this roster. I believe in Tony still. Even if he had a down year, Travis, I believe in Tony. I think if I was to criticize Tony for this year, I think I would criticize how he handled the roster more than how he handled coaching them. Because we had Tony on here, right? And we basically got him to, in a very polite way, say like he thought the player skill on this roster was a problem for CLG specifically. He thought that they were outskilled a lot of the time.
Yeah. And I should
so,
say,
like,
by the way, I actually still think that Tony is probably like one of the best options for TSM or any team in the offseason. Coaching, this is going to sound like I'm dogging on Tony. I don't mean to, but coaching, there's not a lot of great options. And I actually do think Tony historically has proven that he can be one of the best.
For sure.
But I think that there should be more of a question in people's minds about if Tony can turn around his reputation back to where it was after a down year than I think we're seeing right now. And I think that our caller is supposing.
Well, I was thinking too, like, didn't CLG have like a really good early game until like about 15 minutes? Like,
Yeah.
wasn't that kind of what everyone said? And I feel like TSM has lacked since Well, since Double Lift left in the spring split, I feel like they've lacked that kind of go button. Like, I know for 2017, it kind of felt like TSM just kind of waited to see who got the lead, and then they would hit go. But like the early game for CLG was really good, and I think that's like where TSM like lacks the most, is that they're always so far behind by the late game because it's like they weren't really doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like I definitely agree. Tony will help some of these problems out. I'm not in the camp that believes he will fix enough of them to take what we saw at TSM here and return. Because this is what they want to do: return them to number one.
I think.
I don't.
Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, the stream is definitely down. And I'm not sure what to do about it.
It's back. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I don't think the stream completely
We're
broke. I think
dropping them again, though.
Do you see it on your thing?
Yeah,
It
it's
says
showing me
live
that
right
they're
now,
dropping.
it's- Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait,
Which
no,
is, it's weird that Discord and Skype seems fine.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys don't need to refresh chat.
I mean, they can't hear you.
I think they can't.
Wait, you're just dropping frames?
Yeah,
Or
they're dropping like endless frames.
oh,
Right, but you're not actually breaking connection.
Yeah.
you could just restart the stream.
I wonder if it's the Twitch Japan server.
I think it's probably that. Oh,
'Cause
now you're actually offline. Now you actually died.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm
For a long-
gonna turn the stream off and back on again.
Yeah.
Damn,
Not
dude, we
talking-
are crushing viewership.
Yeah.
Not talking about Jensen, so it's C9. Not talking about C9, so Jensen DDoS.
Dude, that's so true. We're in fucking semifinals of Worlds, and you guys talking about TSM?
Dude, I know, man.
No, that's what I was so happy. I wanted to make that
I was
joke.
like, everyone's gonna fucking hate me.
Don't worry, I'll steal your joke.
Might as well get it out the way.
Okay,
I think someone said it.
I mean,
in the,
it's saying that
Yeah.
the stream should be like XSplit thinks it should be fine. I wonder if Twitch is falling apart.
I'll look at another stream real quick. Oh, is it Twitch? No, it's not.
Ninja stream is fine.
Yeah.
I blame you, Travis.
Oh, you're back live.
We're live. Okay.
Yeah.
We were crushing it, and
yeah.
then
Now we're
you
gonna
killed
lose a
us.
bunch of people because the people that didn't. That's annoying. Okay. Anyway. But we should wrap up this topic because the joke I wanted to make is that we just had a historic quarters and we're talking about TSM.
Sorry, I ruined everything.
No,
Trying
you're
to
good, dude.
slow down the hype train so then C9's the underdogs and then we win Worlds.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, Carrix?
I think we kind of discussed it pretty well.
Okay.
I appreciate having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for calling in. And
Thanks for calling, dude.
Hopefully
You guys have a good one,
Chicago
right?
gets better for you, man. I hope the next time you call in.
Just the traffic, just the traffic. You guys have a good one, all right?
Yeah, have a good one.
See ya.
All right. On to the next caller.
Woo! Dodge one bullet. Let's go.
Okay.
More non-C9 callers, please.
All right. Where are we? Wait, Shanine is still gifting subs? I think he is. Shampluzi Strangers, Shanine Jat, Freak Peach, Rikidian, Yorman Jose Ashap, Brandon Muniso, Ventus Official sent 1,000 bits and says, "Can someone talk about Drake becoming a co-owner of 100T and the implications?" Well, maybe we'll have a caller for that. I don't know. Reinu G Goku resub for 3 months. Divide NZL is here. Divide, I think you've been on the show before.
I've been on a couple of times.
Oh yeah, you're our New Zealand dude.
One of like 3, I think there are.
Yeah.
You just said that because his name was fucking Divide NZL.
No, but he's...
No,
Zealand.
because the Hawk, remember?
Yeah, the Hawk, I remember.
Yeah.
He had a 50-50 chance of getting it right.
What is Friend Simulator? Divide.
It's no friends. Feels bad.
Oh, it's a joke on Discord? Because it says he's playing a game called...
No, I
Friend
just
Simulator.
renamed Chrome to Friend Simulator.
Okay. Well, thank you for being a Twitch sub. I think you've been one for a while. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
My question or hot take is G2 winning against RNG was awesome and an excellent series, and IG is going to be a massive skill matchup between the top and mid. with the better solo lane winning the game, and I reckon it's going to go 4-5 games.
You
And
reckon?
who do you think's gonna win?
No.
Wait,
I
Mark,
want to say G2.
Mark, we're
I
supposed to
want to
talk
say
about
G2.
quarters or semis on the next show.
Oh,
That we're doing at TwitchCon.
Hey, it's
Oh,
been great having you on, man.
No, no,
right, see you later, everyone.
no.
It's okay.
We'll just do
Travis
this
doesn't
one.
want me here.
We'll just do this one.
Well, how about we go back to what you said about at the start, even though it wasn't really his call.
But no, we should do his call. We'll just do his call. It's just one of the matchups. We'll talk about it again on the show.
All right,
We'll
yeah.
feed
I
this
also
one
might need
first.
to change some people in the.
Wait, I said this at the
The
start of
way-
the show. What have you done?
I was probably tweeting when you said it. All right, I
This
fucked
was
up.
your idea.
All right.
When I said
Guys,
we were gonna
this
do-
one's on me. All right, you know, I think it's
God damn it,
important when you
Matt.
mess up that you take ownership. And I was the one who propositioned Travis that we do one to react to quarters, and then one at TwitchCon as well for semis. So people who are in the waiting room listening to this who have a topic about semis, my bad.
Let's get
But
through
hey,
this
at
one.
least I didn't lose 1,000 viewers when I killed this Twitch stream. At least that wasn't me.
Mine still says 2150.
It dropped down to 1,800 from 2,800 right when it got back up.
Well,
we're
I never
climbing
saw it
again,
at 2800. You saw it at 2800?
but right when we died, I saw it at 2,800.
The fuck?
Can we go to the topic now?
All right. What was the topic again?
IG and G2.
He said it'll
Yeah,
be a,
IG and G2 being a skill matchup between top and mid.
So hit me with who you think's gonna win. Divide.
I want G2 to win.
Not what you want. Tell me what you think's gonna happen. Who's gonna win?
55-45 IG.
Oh, damn.
So you think it's basically a coin flip, but
I
IG
think
is
it's
a slight,
real
slight
close.
favorite.
Light favorite IG.
All right. Kelby, you want to go first?
Yeah. I was talking to Peter about this earlier today as I was doing my prep for the show tonight. I thought personally that the two teams that impressed me the most in quarters were G2 and C9. And the one thing that I'm concerned about with IG is, like, I thought that they were playing super well, and I think I talked on previous shows about how I thought they were, like, definitely one of the better Chinese teams. And I think that they played really well against KT, aside from the fact that, like, they had really, really weird game 4 and 5 and game 3 where it looked like they were just going to tilt out of that series, and Rookie, like, walks down mid without buying items, and this is the first two melee creeps. But then Peter was like, yeah, and he still won lane. That's how fucking good, like, this guy is, right? The one thing that is curious to me about IG is the fact that they're the only Chinese or Korean team left in the tournament, and coincidentally, they're the only Chinese or Korean team that didn't have to play a Western team in quarters. So,
Damn.
so like, it's like, man, is KT bait? Are all the Chinese and Korean teams bait? This, actually, I won't go too much into it because I want to save it for, like, the semifinal show, because I have a lot of theories
gonna
about,
be
like,
on the
what's going on
semifinal
at the
show?
event. I'm gonna try, and yeah, but no, I agree with you entirely, though. And again, I was talking with Peter about this. Like, it seems like min top skill matchups and winning those lanes is really, really affecting outcomes of this tournament. And I think that's probably what will determine that series. And yeah, I don't have any further insight than that.
My take is that Rookie is the best player in the world right now, and I don't even think it's probably pretty closer than what I'm about to pretend, but I don't think it's close. Like, he just smashes people, and I think that's going to be a big problem for G2. Is, like, I think Perks is incredible, and I think he has been, like, somewhere in the top 10 performer at this World's top 5, close to, maybe, I don't know, but Rookie just seems like on another level. Like, he had, like, I think a 30 CSD average against Caps, and Caps is also incredible. And assuming that, like, Perks and Caps are somewhat close in skill, like, Rookie is probably going to have big leads every game this series. And I'm sure there'll be games where Perks actually gets the better of him, but over a 5-game series, I think Rookie will be really good. I think top lane is relatively even in terms of skill matchup, and I think IG's bot lane is better, but way more volatile. Like, Jackie Love looks super good some games and super fucking boosted some of the games against Fnatic. So I think that's one that, like, I think it depends on how Jackie Love is playing that day to, like, if that's an advantage or disadvantage for IG. Whereas I think, for the most part, Yarn and Medivh are actually very, very consistent and very good about neutralizing any sort of threats that happen bot lane. And then both Jankos and Ning are a little inconsistent, but Jankos is inconsistent. Like, sometimes I impact the game and sometimes I'm a complete non-factor, whereas, like, Ning is always a factor. It's just about whether he's killing himself or, like, killing the opponent. So I think a lot of this will come down to the fact that G2 is way more consistent. But I think IG is skill-wise better.
Okay,
So that's
cool.
my thoughts on it.
That's
and
all...
I think it does favor. I'd bump it up to like 60-65% for IG. But yeah.
Divide, I'm sorry, but we have to move on from this topic quick before we talk it too much.
It's okay.
Do you have anything you want to say at the end?
I understand. No, that's fine.
Thank you so much.
My bad, dude.
I feel. No, it's fine. You sound so sad.
It's okay. You should feel bad, Travis.
Yeah,
Ruin
Travis,
my hopes and dreams and.
All right, now on to the next caller.
Hold on, it might take me a second to get the next caller because
maybe you should pull. Mark, are you still here?
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, we should do two things. We should do sponsor, and you should try to pull Nox because I feel like we should start talking about the stuff that happened. That's the hypest thing. Whatever. Let's talk about our sponsor for this show. Do you guys want to know? You want to know who our sponsor is? Drum roll. Drum roll. Everybody's spamming drums.
The slowest drum roll you'll hear.
It's our mystery sponsor. That's right. They're back another week. Excited to talk to you guys about them. They are a company that exists. They are sponsoring our show. It's really exciting. Not yet, no. Yes, well, they're our mystery sponsor. They're sponsoring the show. It's super exciting. They're supporting me and Mark. And what they're doing, and they're not supporting Kelby. That should make you happy. And what they're doing is they're supporting us, even though we're not ready to announce the partnership yet, because we're getting some ducks in a row. But I want you guys to know that they're doing this so that whenever we announce them, that not only are they supporting the show going forward, but they've supported all these past shows as well. So it's really nice that they're doing this. It's really helpful. It's not Tidy Cats. You guys continue to think it's Tidy Cats. It's not Tidy Cats. And yeah, that's the conversation I can have with you right now.
I will tell you guys, I know who the mystery sponsor is. It's not a mystery to me, and I am super happy to have this sponsor.
It's true. All right.
I would just love to hear you say, I can tell you guys, I know who the mystery sponsor is. I think they're fine. I'm not like over the moon about it, but
no, he's excited. He's excited because of a conversation
when I'm able
I had
to talk
with him.
about this sponsor, I'll give you a great list of reasons of why I was excited, and I don't need to bullshit about it like you sometimes have to do.
Well, and one of the reasons is because of a conversation I just had with him the other day that he was responding very quickly.
But that was continuing on something.
Oh, really? You were excited? Okay, good. Good to know.
Well, no, I'm just excited about this sponsor regardless.
I don't know why.
Say more, but
I don't know why people.
What, Kelby?
I got a really good pun. I don't know why people keep asking about Tidy Cats. I think they would be a shit sponsor.
Let's move on. People are gonna think it's no. These are I got these the other day. I was shopping and they're Tiger. They're not Nike. They're Tiger, but they're really cool. What do you guys think? They're not related to the sponsor. I just wanted to show them off because I was messing around with it on my shoe. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, you should grab Nox. I think it's time for the. Yeah. Mr. Sloppy with 3 months. Hey Travis, happy to be back in the Gafford Goofies 3 months pog. That's not the name. The Coil subbed. By the way, earlier, Kelby, Nick Allen showed up and said, "Why is Kelby such a jerk all the time?" And now all the Twitch chat is spamming that. Scientia Faye resubbed. Abdul from Art Class gifted a sub to Fallout Hero 7. Boba Cola resubbed for 10 months. And then Abdul from Art Class gifted to 2 more people. What is up with everybody doing all these gifts tonight?
Dude, I don't know what's wrong with Nox Paragon. I don't know if it's on my end or what, but I can't hear him when I see his thing light up.
You're saying he was having some stuff. He said it was fixed though, half an hour ago.
Do you see it lighting up right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, why can't I hear him? What the fuck, dude?
No, I
That's weird.
Wait,
I can hear Nox.
Nox, say something.
You guys can't? Nox, can you talk?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I can hear him now. I had to rejoin. Okay. What the fuck?
Maybe it's a Discord bug.
No, I think it's me. Like,
no, I don't think so, dude.
When you tried to talk to me, it wouldn't let me unmute it at first either. So I had to like switch headphones and everything. I don't know. It's this new laptop that I have, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever. It's working now. Let's not jinx it.
Nox, where are you calling from?
From St. Louis.
St. Louis. Okay. And you called in. Do you want to talk about what you called in before group started, and what did you have to say at that time?
So pretty much, I dropped the hot take because everyone else was being boring that day. That C9 would be the only one to go to semis, and then people were now just dragging Kelby through the mud.
Right.
What makes you happier? That C9 did in fact make semis, or that Kelby's getting dragged through the mud?
Making it through semis because let's be honest, those games were hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah. So how did you? Okay. Do you feel like before we get into the Kelby stuff, do you feel like your prediction was accurate? Because you said they were making it to semifinals. You said a bunch of other stuff. So seeing them make it to semis, how did you feel? And what do you think now in retrospect of what you said before versus now?
Overall, I would say overall, yeah, it was an accurate-ish. I gave it like a B- statement, which is even surprising for that, just because more to do than said scaring did not happen at all.
Yeah.
I think what you need to know though is in these moments when you come home to take your credit, you can't admit that parts of what you said were wrong, because no one's actually going to go back and look. Just be like, yes, I 100% knew this is how it would go, and no one will correct you. No one's going to go back and rewatch that.
I went back.
So hot take then. Hot take. Licorice is the best player in the world right now.
That's your new hot take? Licorice is the best player over
hot
Rookie?
Take. Over everyone.
Okay. Well, let's stay on before we get to your next craziness. So how did you know that this was going to happen?
Let's see. Woke up. Went to work. Came back home. Going at it. What they were doing, who they could potentially play. And it was C9's been the only one I think they've made it out of. Before this, it was 5 out of 6, I want to say.
Yeah.
They were the only team that's made out of groups.
Mm-hmm.
The only team that was trying new things compared to everyone else in NA. So you have to have, the one out. Might as well go all out.
Yeah.
I have less to say about this. Can we go back to Licorice being the number one player?
No. Okay.
I just want to say, Nox, that I think you're God. You were the only person that I heard from analysts or I think we had another caller who had a pretty bold take that ended up being right. But for anybody that called in and all of this stuff, and everybody flames me. If I recall, probably when this was going on in chat, they were probably hang up. This guy is crazy, blah, blah, stuff like this. So I want to say you're God. You're the only one that saw this coming, was able to call it out, and just props, man.
I want to give Nox a lot of credit here, but I remember saying, hey, anything could happen. All right?
If we go back and watch that clip,
what would happen? You're just as wrong as you are right.
I said it's Worlds. I was super open-minded about this Worlds, and I ended up being the right play because
that's true.
A lot of crazy
that's true as well.
By committing to nothing, you can claim everything.
Yeah. That's true.
No, I thought Travis said Team Liquid was the only one doing anything this year. Did he not say that?
No, I definitely wouldn't have said that because I thought
that they're the only hope for NA.
I know that I definitely thought that Team Liquid was the only hope for NA, 100%.
So to be fair, Jat also said how this would happen for C9. He said they just have to be better than Vitality, and Genji just has to choke, and that's kind of what happened. So you are Nox Paragon is basically Jat, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Kelby, there were a lot of people.
Can I talk about C9 though?
Yeah, well, let Knox say what he was gonna say.
Real quick, even I know Kelby, you're getting tons of shit. I didn't find it that bad from what you said because it would be like me, giving a more modern sports reference. Be me saying Golden State, they're losing in the first round of the playoffs, getting swept. That's what a hot take's supposed to be,
Yeah, for sure. But you ended up being right, and I made the very unfortunate, will never do again mistake of saying 0%.
Kelby, I like the 0%.
Gotta say 1% next time, dude.
No, I think I said 1%. I think I took.
Mark, you're getting a lot of shit too for saying I give him a little less than 1.
Yeah, because I think I said that specifically about getting to semis, right? It was like the whole road that you were talking about, not just
you
getting.
Did say though, and I give you credit for that. You did say it was more likely that they would make semis than Team Liquid would make finals.
I did say that. Let's go, me.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, you
to
go.
The semis, or let's talk about the semis. Let's do it.
No, we're not allowed to talk about semis. But what we can't talk about is the ridiculous statement that Licorice is the best player at Worlds.
Wait, hang on. One last thing. Okay. So I had a lot of tweets come in and a lot of YouTube comments that were saying, because we're letting Kelby off a little easier here. That said that Kelby should.
I said this guy was a god.
Some people said Kelby should apologize to him for the way that he was so skeptical. That Kelby should
I'm
apologize.
Sorry for being so skeptical.
That Kelby should apologize to Cloud9. That was another big one that I saw frequently.
Dude, go to my Twitter feed and tell me that I haven't given Cloud9 their praise where it's due. You know what I mean?
How about this? Wait. I got a solution for this. Kelby has to wear like the C9 jersey, and if you guys still have that cloud hat, Mark.
Oh, I never had that. That was one of the dive guys.
He has to wear that on Hotline League.
I'll see if I can get it.
I was going to do a talk about Cloud9 and what I saw from their games and what impressed me. That's what I wanted to say when I said let's talk about Cloud9.
Sounds like you're refusing to apologize.
I think what would
be did just apologize, Knox. I'm sorry. You are a god. I was wrong. You were right.
I think what would really win people over, Kelby, is if you went back.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Fuck you, chat. Holy shit!
I think what would really win people over if you went back to the VOD of when this happened and go through chat and everyone who also agreed that they had a 0% chance and wanted to hang up on this guy, you put their name on a list and you just tweet it out. This is everyone else who didn't believe.
Yeah.
I think that would really convince people.
Knox, you were right, man. And
Awesome.
I'm sorry for doubting you. I mean, I'm not sorry because that's literally my job is to come on here and give opinions. But I'm sorry that I said 0%.
I'm not sorry, dude. I would 0%'s fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the group, if you realistic, but you gotta have a dreamer every now and then, right?
All performance indicators. I made a judgment based off of previous performance leading into that, and the fact that they almost got knocked out in the frickin' play-in. And looked terrible in all their regional play up to that. But you were 100% right, where I think in calling, and as you just addressed, C9 gets the international buff in groups, and they make it out every year. And I thought that C9 was the most impressive team in quarters. They played... I think that what we are seeing with this tournament in League reminds me a lot of what I see as far as a success trend every year at TI, where it feels to me like the West has figured out the meta, and they did it before Korea and China did. Whereas a lot of those guys, and Peter talked about this on Twitter, which is why I really wanted to have him on Hotline League tonight, where a lot of the Chinese and Korean teams were playing macro and got baited playing around the 80 carry and the Kaisa pick in particular, whereas the West is playing really strong active lanes, playing fast on the map, and they're being really dramatically rewarded for it. And not only that, but Jensen and Licorice in lane, Jensen's having the tournament of his life, I feel, personally. He's... Mark, do you disagree?
No,
I see your face, sorry.
It was more the Licorice point. I think Licorice has had a great tournament. I don't know if you're saying tournament or the series against Africa, but...
No, sorry. I think he's talking to Knox. Knox, do you think...
No, I was talking to... I made a face when Kelby said the
sorry,
liquor
okay.
Jensen points. And I agree about Jensen.
Oh yeah. Well, no, but and then Reaper talked about how they were just fine to sack his lane, right, in the series against Afrika because they knew what was going to happen elsewhere on the map. Yeah, no. But I think that like Jensen's still just Licorice is still having a really good tournament.
Yep. Sure.
Sorry. And like they're just playing super well. I thought the series against Afrika would be really, really close. I thought Afrika would win like 3-2 or whatever, but C9 just trounced them. And I think that C9 is the team that I think is playing the best right now at Worlds, actually. And like they're just super fucking scary.
I mean, that series against Afrika definitely could have gone either way. You look at the meme Baron Steel. That they get that. I can't remember Afrika's ADC's name, but
Kramer.
Well,
if he doesn't target Licorice at that moment, they get Baron. They probably get out with at least 2-3 people.
So, on that topic,
game one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't think it was actually that. It was the same reason that after Fnatic won Game 3 against EDG, I was like, oh, they win this series no matter what, because EDG isn't clean enough with a lead to actually win the games consistently. And then same thing happened Game 3, or Game 4 in the Fnatic EDG series, where EDG gets a million kills and then they lose anyways. That's how the Afrika one felt. They just couldn't play with the lead because they were not aggressive enough. So I actually felt super confident that C9 was going to win that series. Even in Game 3 when they were losing that game, I was like, Afrika looks pretty terrible with the leads and when they get advantages.
100%. That was the surprising part. Is you look, the players can't see the gold score, but when I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, they're down in gold, but I haven't seen them back to their own tier 1s in 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. It's something that we talked about earlier before, where they're playing on their half of them, right? Where if you have presence on the map, even if you lose fights or you have things that go wrong, they have to walk all the way to your side to do anything. The thing that C9 did, which I called out and questioned after quarters after groups that I wanted to see them succeed, was they relied a lot in their final day of groups on Nocturne Shen. And abusing global presence on the map, and they only got that once against Afrika, which was Game 3, and which is why I tweeted at the start of Game 3, this game's over, because they got their God combo that they already showed, and I was not concerned about any point in that game. But as we saw from Game 1, which was super stompy, and from Game 2, they just they have really deep champ select. It seems right now they can play a lot of stuff, and really it's not about their champion pools or their picks so much as how they are playing the game. They have the meta figured out right now, I feel really, really strongly.
Yeah, it's hard because...
Vitality.
Go ahead, Paragon.
Oh, no, I was just saying shout out to Vitality because they were in groups. It was after they lost to Genji, and they looked at Vitality. They're like, wait a minute. Let's just fight.
Yeah, that's what Zazel said in my interview, which you can check out, which is pretty good.
Go
ahead, Mark.
I was going to say... I'm not quite 100% that they were the most impressive team in quarters, and we can't talk about semi matchups, but I do think it's a tough road ahead for C9.
Who do you think was the most impressive team in quarters? Quarters.
In quarters, I actually think it was IG. I think their series versus KT was dope as fuck, and the players looked incredible in that series.
But they had 2 games. I mean, it's another topic, but I felt they were gonna choke away that series massively. They were crumbling in game 4.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the problem that IG has always had, is that they're a bit coin flippy. But I think when it comes up heads, they are literally unbeatable.
Can I say just 2 final points, and then you guys can get to the next caller?
Yes.
In your guys' opinion, is this the best Worlds meta? Just to at least, I don't know how the players feel, but to at least watch.
100%, dude.
Kelby used to complain to me. He used to come into Discord and be like, "Travis, I'm watching this league game. It's 15 minutes in, and there's been 2 kills. Meh. Dota 2, meh." And I would feel all those people who are watching the VOD of Kelby, dismissing Unox, and I'm just like, wow, Kelby's a dick. But
League
just
was
that,
so boring for a long period of time, man. It was
just like Nox. I'm sure
the last meta too
saw where he was coming from. I think Kelby had a point about those times.
Yeah,
Did you-
and
did
these
you
games
like-
are hype as fuck, man. I've been watching all the games for a reason. It's fun to watch League again, in my opinion.
I don't know about you. I
Nobody
like
knew.
PvE lane pushing. Who wants to watch stupid
Rewarding
old
24/7.
PvP games? Yeah, watch PvE. That's where it's at.
Lane swaps.
Especially because, oh god. But like, it's cool because we have a mix of everything. Where it's like, there's some teams that can 1-3-1-ish. You got the 4-1. You got just the siege. You got base races that nobody knows who actually hit last until the game's over.
Yeah, that was hype.
It's just like this is probably the first year that I've watched other regions besides like NA and maybe a little bit of EU just because of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is probably, I would assume, because in each of the roles, most of the power picks are actually skill matchups, which is why it feels good. Versus like if the power picks are all tanks in the top lane, like none of them actually like get advantages against each other. But like Aatrox is beatable by a certain subset of picks, and same like with other things. So like I think that's ultimately why it's so sick. Is like, oh, the best champ in mid lane right now is probably LeBlanc. But like most of our matchups are skill matchups, which is why it's so sick.
How much of this, Mark, is the fact that they didn't do a massive patch like they usually do?
Part of it. I don't think it has much to do about like the fact that there wasn't a big patch so much as like what they did to start setting up for this. Just like even going so far back as the mid-season patch, which was admittedly pretty horrible in terms of execution, where they put out 3 big patches in a row. But I think a lot of what they did was about opening up the meta then, and in the end has culminated in this.
Do you guys remember when we've had people call into the show to say that they should get rid of Worlds, or North America should stop going to Worlds because we don't ever do well and it's just as bad for the region?
Yeah, dude, I remember those calls.
Do you think now that C9 have done decent and they kind of shown, I guess, not the whole way, but they've lit up a path, don't follow what every other region is doing, try to come up with, your own thing, your own niche?
I mean,
They did
it just by following EU.
Yeah, but they have their own picks, stuff like that. They're not just trying to copy everyone else. Do you think now there isn't an excuse for teams not to do well? Like, not saying every team has to go in and get out of groups, but it's like 100 teams did as bad as they did.
So, on that topic, I remember there's
we should switch to the next caller as soon as Mark
all right,
says.
really quickly then.
Yeah.
The idea of innovating and finding your own style is harder than just saying, yeah, let's find our own style, because you actually need players who are good at doing that stuff. 100 Thieves has their own style. It's just not good in the meta, and they're skill-wise not good enough to execute it on the stage that they're playing on.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it's fair to criticize some of the slower-paced teams and, like, the more controlled style as, like, well, why didn't they just copy the other teams, but then say those other teams are also making their own way? You know what I'm saying? Like, they did follow their own way and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Sometimes following your own way doesn't work too, and it's not fair to just ignore where it doesn't work and applaud when it does.
Knox, any last words?
Fair. No, yeah, thanks for coming on, Kelby. You're a good person. I don't hate you. Never did.
No, thanks, dude.
And have a good one. Hopefully I'll catch the show for semis.
Yeah. Thank you.
Peace.
Have a good night, man.
Right. On to the next caller. All right. So there's been some crazy stuff happening in the gifted. Okay, so Paper000 sub to Twitch Prime. I think I said Shanine Jet with another 5. Boba Cola gifted to Renzo Frenzo. Salizar subbed. Zafar subbed. Butter030 4 months. Guess what came in the mail today? Thank you, Travis. I gifted him an Ateo outfit, or a duo. So hopefully he's excited about it. Rafa NA donated $50. Hi, Travis, Mark, and Kelly. I'm sorry I couldn't tune in the show. I was out with family. Thank you so much for having me on the show last time. By the way, predictions are C9, Fnatic C931, G2 IG, G232. I can DM you and Mark reasoning if you want. No, you don't need to DM us. But I do appreciate the $50. Mick Chester, that's very cool of you, by the way. Mick Chester resub for 8 months. Fragbait Light 10 months. Hi, my name is Nikki1 subbed. Boba Cola gifted to Helios. 200 IQT, or no. Boonzo TV 6 months. I am broken 21. Kyle0808, who's gifted like a bajillion subs, gifted 5. Aver for 4 months. Reglix for 5. Flix for subbed with Prime. Ralph N.A. for another $10 who says, I wouldn't be able to watch the rest of the show tonight. Please pass on my predictions. Did it. Piggles McGiggles. Ralph N.A. gifted to Manny Juicer. Call me happy for 3 months. And then Ralph N.A. gifted 20 subs.
Whoa. 20 subs.
People are just in a really good mood tonight and sending a ton of bits. And
You know who's the happiest the West is doing well is Travis, because it makes all of you guys so much more giving.
Let's go! IG lose! We need money! Alright. Weebmaster. EU play.
Hello.
Weebmaster, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sweden.
Sweden, okay. The way you said that sounded offended. Like if I'm calling from Sweden, what are you thinking, Travis?
No, it's
that's just my accent.
Okay.
Don't mind it.
Okay, I won't. Thank you for being a Twitch sub. You're playing Warframe right now while talking to us.
I'm like sitting AFK in Warframe because no one's in the trading chat
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
at 6 a.m.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about in the show tonight?
I think G2 is gonna win every matchup from now on 3-0, and it's gonna be due to their mental state.
G2 wins every matchup 3-0, including finals.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a prediction that Mark was not supposed to have on the show, but
so
it's spicy enough prediction we can keep it around.
I said that like you don't need to get into specific matchups. Talk about why he is convinced of this due to past things.
Okay,
So
okay, that's fine.
Frame it about that kind of stuff.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, like specific is the mental thing because, like we said, like Perks is stressed, and Perks is like their biggest key player. Like when Perks doesn't perform, the team falls apart. We've seen it in the EU playoffs. But when Perks gets behind the other mid laner, the team just doesn't do anything and they lose. And he said that he's kind of stressed, but he's keeping it together. And the rest of his team, like Wonder is probably gonna be solid. Jankos is so like up and down, but no one knows what side he lands on. But bot lane is like it's pretty steady. Also, like Jarnan is Swedish, so I know he's I have some inside info. Like he's gonna do wonders here.
Because he's Swedish?
Yeah.
Inside info from being from
nice.
Sweden.
Nice.
Is that
Yeah.
so? All the Swedish people know that he's going to do well because they've got the inside track.
Inside track, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, like in a previous in a previous episode, I was here with talking about saying that Heimerding is the most OP broken champion ever, and everyone sleeps on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just dropping that so that we know that you said that.
I was right.
Okay. Okay.
So what's happening is every team is forced to ban Heimer. You lose one ban, immediate advantage in draft. The G2 stress is like I thought that either is gonna crush them, but because it didn't happen right now, we're gonna go beast mode and we're gonna win everything. Because if we lose a single game, we will just crash so hard. So we will win everything.
All right, so I agree with some of the stuff you're saying in here. This is just a personal pet peeve of mine. It's the Heimerdinger discussion. A lot of people talk about how great it is, and I agree. The fact that people have to ban Heimer is great, but I think it's gotten a little ridiculous. I saw a thread on the subreddit that's like Hjarnan is world's MVP, and all it did was talk about the Heimerdinger ban. Like,
yeah.
I would actually argue that one of the downsides of the Heimerdinger ban is that you're not forcing a champion out of their own pool when they ban it. So, like, when you play against Perks, let's say, on his team, and you feel like you have to ban a Akali against him, maybe. You're not just banning a Akali against him, you're banning it against yourself. And Heimerdinger is not a pick that makes you ban against yourself. It does make you waste the ban, which I agree is great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying it, but that's all that Hjarnan is forcing. Whereas on
you're not double banning both. You're only banning one side.
Right. So you're only banning him out, and it's only one ban. And like I did some math real quick. I grabbed how many bans were against Hjarnan on average. Over the course of Worlds, he's averaged 1.33 bans. So he gets the Heimer ban, and then A third of the other games, someone throws one more marksman ban at him sometimes. Rookie forces 2.833 bans a game against himself. So that's basically 3, and then some games it's 2.
Okay, that comes down to like then I want to talk about perks and how he seems to be like even though he was so close to like mentally boom, he didn't, and that's because I think he hit the lowest peak, and now he's not like he's gonna be stable, and I think Rookie's gonna win he's gonna win lane like 7 or 8 out of 10 times against anyone left, but it's gonna lose game. So Rookie's gonna win lane, lose game from now on.
Well, so like.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Oh no, sorry. Kelby can go if he has something to say.
I here's another bold prediction, and I'm ready for Kelby to, like,
not say 0%.
I've been getting some views on my channel recently because of Kelby on old content. It's been working out really great. So Kelby, what do you got for us?
I mean, I don't think they're gonna 3-0 every series. I think their series with IG will be really close, personally. Because of
is it the CRO?
What? No. I think it's extremely unlikely that they 3-0 their next 2 series. That doesn't mean that they won't win their series, but 3-0 is like, pretty dominant fashion. And
very
well, honestly, I have to like everyone else is making bold claims. I have to put up my own. Like, I don't want to be left behind.
Yeah.
It's the season of bold claims for sure.
Yeah. I think that there's like, because Rookie is so good, like I feel like there's probably just some games where they win off him and like, top winning, in that series. I think that both of the semifinal series are going to be really close.
We're not talking about semifinals, Kelby.
Oh, sorry.
We're only talking about what's your percentage for overall 3-0ing the whole way through the rest of the tournament, the next 2 series.
Mine.
No, Kelby's.
Yeah, I think that it's greater than 0%.
Well, look at him.
Improvement already.
Look at what Kelby has become. 2 weeks
I
ago, he was like, "Oh, you think that's gonna be 3-0? I don't even know if they're making it to finals."
This is the bold claim stream.
Yeah.
I think that it's greater than 0% and less than 1%. So
does it round down to 0, Kelby? Is the limit approaching 0?
Actually, I hadn't gone that many decimal places. We're probably at like 0.04 something, and I don't know what's past the 4, so we'll see.
Okay.
I'm with Kelby once again. Like, I think G2 legitimately has a chance to win Worlds. I just
100%.
don't think it's 3-0. I think for sure IG gets one game where like 2 people pop off.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it's Worlds. Anything can happen. We don't know.
Yeah, sure.
3-0.
Yeah.
The more things change, the more they stay the same, huh?
Yeah. But like my big thing is because their mental state is kind of like hitting bottom with perks, and he's the key player.
I will
It
say
can only go up, and it's going to go up. Like the stock is rising.
Yeah.
I actually think. You go, Kelby.
I was gonna say if there was a team that they would 3-0, it would be IG, because like if G2 starts out really hot against IG, and like we see from them what we saw in games 3 and 4 against KT, I would be like,
Like KT should have lost 3-0. Come on.
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah, but
I agree on the mental point. I think what's really interesting to note is Europe is the only region with 2 teams remaining, and of those 2 teams, I feel like there's more hype behind Fnatic, and so in a lot of ways,
but that's not the bold claim here.
No, I'm backing up your bold claim. I'm saying that your point about mental state, I think, is a great one, because there's the least pressure of any team on G2. Every other team is representing their region's hopes at this point. G2 doesn't have that pressure. As well as the fact, like you're saying, Perks in his interviews was saying he's so burnt out, he doesn't really give a fuck what happens right now.
That's a good way to play.
Yeah, so he's just, like, G2 is playing as all or nothing, and as any team in the tournament, and everyone is playing all or nothing. Like, they are harder in the all or nothing than anyone else.
yeah, like we hit the bottom. Now it's up,
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in, Weebmaster. Anything you
Yeah.
want to say here at the end?
Can I throw my hat in the ring on the mystery sponsor?
You
Yeah,
can. We're not
I
gonna
want to
react.
hear it. And I want to see Travis and Mark try and react to it.
Okay. T-Mobile.
I love how Travis just turned off his fucking cam, dude. Oh, and he he blacked out Mark's too. You know
Wait,
what's
what?
hilarious is that I know who the mystery sponsor is too, and Travis didn't black me out. No, he doesn't.
What did you even say? I didn't even hear what you said.
You said T-Mobile. And if you could see my face right now, I'm giving a thumbs up or thumbs down, but unfortunately, Travis has blocked it out.
Hey, I want to thank you so much, Weemaster, for calling into the show. Really appreciate it. And we'll see if your bold predictions come true, including the mystery sponsor.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my percentage on the mystery sponsor?
No.
0.
Everyone stop talking about it so that I can re-enable cams.
All right, I'm going to get the next caller.
Okay. All right. Pluto 7443, 6 months. Krispy Kreme gifted to Kylis Guile. Airy Waddle reset for 9 months. Chat loves you, Kelby. That's not true. Model Zero subbed. I hate Snarf for
Travis.
3 months. Flakes for 100 bits. How do I access the subtopics in Discord if I'm a sub? You have to link it, and then it takes a little bit. You can Google it if you're having issues. X Phantom Slayer sent 100 bits and said, GTSM just picked up Afro. That's not true. F Pozo Bon subbed. Neat Streams subbed. Random Summoner 2 months. And R Folly Dude 97 for 2 months. Is this guy just a G2 fanboy? Shaking my head. Also, hi chat. All right. We've got Shampoo on the show. Is it Shampoo or Champloo?
Shampoo.
Okay. Have you been on before?
I have.
Okay. Kelby the
I
other
know
day was
this
like...
Kelby guy from a long time ago.
Yeah. But you weren't on an episode I was on, were you?
No, you weren't. there.
Yeah.
So
I
I
was
noticed
busy.
you joined, and I don't know if you're memeing here, but when I click your name, it says playing a game Fortnite.
Yeah, I was just trying to practice and get ready for the stream.
Okay.
I was inspired by Cloud9. So
I think you have like probably a big league match coming up. You got to play some Fortnite for.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being a Twitch sub.
no problem.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk? Oh wait, where are you calling from?
Orlando.
Orlando. All right. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I want to talk why C9 is able to make it out of the groups while other teams from NA cannot.
Okay. Go for it.
It's a good topic.
Yeah. So
Is it Fortnite?
try to follow me on. Yeah, it's totally Fortnite. But because Fortnite was available back in 2014, Travis, come on, go with the times. But yeah, try to follow me on this one. I think there's a very visible pattern with C9 whenever they've made it out of groups, and it hasn't really been like fully roster related. It's not like the imports that they've had or what roles they've had them in, and they've changed analysts and coaching staff, had a lot of turnover and that other than Reaper. So I don't think it's necessarily the support structure either. I actually think it's something that other NA teams could replicate. They just unfortunately haven't been able to do so thus far.
You got the secret sauce.
The secret sauce is that they're lucky.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah. So bear with me on this one, and this isn't to discredit C9 at all. I actually had them as my 5th best team after group stage. So I still think they were a really good team. But I think when you look back at all of their Worlds groups, and people are going to, blow up on this and say, oh, they're consistently lucky, huh? And I'm like, well, luck is an independent event each time that they just so happen to be, this doesn't matter.
They're
that it's
lucky with
happening.
their luck.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can flip a coin and it can land 5 times in a row heads. That doesn't mean someone's really good at making it heads or whatever.
Exactly. So I think that argument's dumb. But when I look at each group that they've had for Worlds, I feel like they've been really lucky. So even this group stage, group of death, right? They're like, okay, there's no way to make it out.
Yeah.
Just so happens that Gen G is awful.
Can you explain that? No, Genji was bad. They were like 100 T level, which, like, honestly, after group
Whoa.
stage.
They
After
aren't
group
100
stage.
T level.
I mean, yeah, that might be going a little far, but it's close. But no, I had them like as probably the 12th or 13th ranked team after group stage, just because they looked really bad. And part of that was ruler and the prevalence of mid lanes in this meta. Or not ruler, I'm sorry, crown. And ruler wasn't able to carry crown. Crown was too heavy, but but then we go to like, so you look at that, and I'm not saying Team Liquid would make it out of their group, because I actually think Team Liquid would have lost to Vitality.
Yeah.
So it's not like just luck is the only factor. I'm just saying when you look at it, it's like 2018, they get really lucky in that regard. I don't think that they would have made it out of TL's group, because I think KT and EDG would have beat them in the group stage, because C9 didn't turn it around quickly enough. And I think that would have not been enough to beat EDG and KT. Same thing with Fnatic and IG. I don't think they would have got out of that group either. So they were fortunate to get into one of the two groups I think they would get out of in this one. Then you go to 2017, and you look at AHQ and EDG. EDG was like a 4v5 with Mouse top lane. He was awful, and that was supposed to be a strong team going in. So I feel like they got lucky there too. And again, when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, what if they got Group C? They would have got RNG and Samsung Galaxy, who were two of the better teams in that tournament. Would they have made it out of that? I don't think so. Could they have made it out of the TSM group? Maybe. And like, I don't want to keep going on and on for each year, but like even all the way back to 2014.
You should
Okay.
go every
No, don't go for it, Travis. You got 20 minutes left in the show.
No, but I mean, there's only a couple of years left, right?
Yeah.
There's only fucking 3 more left, dude.
I'll go faster on this. So 2014,
No.
Kaboom.
Go.
2014, Kaboom. That's all I gotta say. What was 2015? They didn't make it out. 2016, yeah, that's the only year remaining, right? They had IME and Flash Wolves. Do you think they would have made it out over Samsung and Royal Never Give Up that year? I don't think so. So I think while C9 is still a good team, and I don't want to discredit all of their success, I don't think it's fair for people to look at the other NA teams and say, why can't they replicate C9 success? Because in all sports, and this is me growing up with a sports background, sometimes the breaks are the breaks, man. You can do everything right. You can prepare perfectly. You can be a really good team. You can be the Patriots and lose to the Giants. Like, it can happen.
All right, so why didn't CLG get out in 2016, huh?
2016? Because I thought they were bad.
And G2. Okay, so they're bad, but C9 wasn't bad then.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
So C9's better than CLG, one of the other teams at Worlds.
Yes.
Okay, so there's your answer, dude. They're better. At Worlds, they always perform better. It's partially luck, sure.
And that's the point.
But that's every fucking team. G2 shouldn't have got out, right?
Exactly. And my whole problem is people look at Worlds and say, okay, these were the best teams just based off of who got top 8. And it's like, okay, but really, do you think G2 coming out of groups was a better team than Vitality? Because I don't.
Who fucking knows? G2 beat the 1 seed in that group, which Vitality only beat once.
Yes.
So like, who's to fucking say?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is people look at it too holistically, and they just say, these were the results, this is what it is. And they never kind of like actually look at the performance of the teams. They just look at the
People
results.
do all the time. People make fun of H2K's semifinals saying like, haha, you beat ANX, it doesn't matter. People look at the results.
Do they? I mean, okay, so the NA people do on Reddit. EU people, they go to the grave saying H2K was a top 4 team that year.
They
go to the grave on Reddit and say that.
I think they mostly just say that to fuck with NA fans who are salty because they never had the semifinal finish.
I think so. Taking a step back, I think it is fair to say that Worlds is really good at finding the best team, but it might not be the best at finding the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, etc.
No argument here.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree 100%.
And so
but that's not the argument that he's making.
Sure,
sorry, I would agree 99%.
Right now, what we're talking about is that people will say that certain teams are the best. And in reality, like the current format might allow for kind of oddities around this, right? Like a league format is much better at figuring out and ranking the different teams. So maybe whenever C9 could be getting lucky in their groups and that they're not playing the teams that are supposed to be the strongest opponents, or like they
right.
might not
But
always
once
be the
again,
third
that's
best team.
not what he's saying. He's saying that C9 gets abnormally lucky relative to other NA teams, and they're not actually better. But I just pointed out a clear example where that wasn't true. So he's not right.
No.
What happened in 2016 then? Why didn't CLG get out of that group?
Because they were bad. You can't just be fully lucky, and that's the point. It's not 100% luck. I'm saying
but that's
when
what
you're
I'm
looking at them in the long-term view, when you look at their success over time, and you say, okay, they've made it out 5 out of 6 worlds. It's not that they are like doing something different every single year that's just inherently better, or that they inherently have a better roster. Although that could be the case. I'm just saying they have been lucky to get the matchups that they have gotten. I would say as well they were lucky, and they themselves said they were lucky to get Afrika in their draw because that was the best matchup for them. I think you've even said that as well. So I'm trying to get into the gray area here where
I think
feel
you
like,
have taken gray area and pushed it so far to the dark. What happened in 2016 with Immortals? They had a shoe-in to get out of that group, and they fucked it up in the second week, right?
In 2017?
2017, last year, Immortals, where they had 0-4 Fnatic in their group, and they couldn't close it out on them.
Yes.
Well,
and this is my thing. You can be lucky and not good. Like, and this is, again, going back to my sports background, is luck is only a factor if you're good enough to take advantage of it in the first place. But I'm just saying they are getting the opportunity that other teams may not have had.
But other teams, I'm saying other teams did get these opportunities. What happened in 2017 with Immortals? What happened in 2016 with CLG? These other teams are getting luck.
But just
if you put Cloud9 and TSM's group in 2016 or G2's group from 2017, they don't make it out.
Just because you get lucky, I mean, just because Immortals got lucky doesn't take away from the fact that Cloud9 could have also gotten lucky that year.
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm saying both teams got lucky, and CLG did what they needed to, or C9 did what they needed to do to get out.
Sure. I think what's fair, though, is what is a fair question is, what is it about Cloud9 that always allows them to get out of groups? Because it happens despite numerous roster changes, despite different coaching staff, despite different metas. Like, it's not like this is the same team that has gone every year, or this is the same coach that has gone every year. Like, one of the answers could be like, oh, Jack is just really good at making sure the team is prepared. That would be an acceptable answer that you can make an argument around. But I also think there's an argument to be made that they have been consistently lucky over those years. I think it's a fair statement to take, even if other teams are getting lucky as well. Like, oh, this team got lucky one year, they didn't get out of groups. This team got lucky, they didn't get out of groups. That doesn't take away that, like, the conversation can be what is so consistent about C9 over all these different years.
All right, so here's the thing about... I never said they weren't lucky, but if you're saying the only reason that they have more success than other NA teams is luck, is kind of ridiculous when you see other people getting lucky and doing worse than them, right?
But no team... I think the argument would be no team has been as lucky, right? Like, it's not like CLG...
Exactly.
It's not like TSM has gotten these groups every single year and has failed. Like, if C9 is
it's also but no one has gotten out but C9 for 3 years, and other people have gotten lucky during that time as well.
Yeah, and I would equate it to 2014 TSM. I don't think 2014 TSM was a very good team, but they got incredibly lucky in that group, especially with the ruling for Sven Skaren getting banned for, what was it, 2 games from SK?
3. It was the first round robin.
Yeah. So it's like they got incredibly lucky and they made it out as a result.
Yeah, I don't think I'm struggling to understand what you're saying. I think I understand perfectly well with what you're saying. I just think it's not true that they are luckier than other orgs or other NA slots, arguably.
I don't know. Like, I look at each group each year and I'm like, in people will say, well, I mean, they had Gen G in the group, and I'm just like, Yes, but I don't like using ranks before a tournament to say, okay, that's the strongest group.
Right, and I agree with that. But if they could get out of Group A and Group B, like, do you agree they could get out of Group A?
So I said they would get out of Group A or the group that they draw. But
right,
I didn't
so they're good enough. In your own opinion, they're good enough to get out of half the groups that exist.
Correct. But I also think...
So how lucky are they that they ended up on one side of a coin flip?
I mean, that's 50% luck, right?
Not necessarily, because maybe they can actually do better than TL. Like, TL looked like kind of poo-poo, and even they beat EDG for a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't actually think it's that crazy to say C9 gets out of Group C over EDG. So now you're saying they could maybe it's not as surefire as Group A and Group B, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they can also potentially get out of Group C, right? It's fair to say.
I'd give them like a 35% chance.
So what were your chances in the other two groups? Like 80%?
In A and B?
Yeah.
A, I think 100% they get out of that group. I think they take first seed from that group.
Okay, and Group B?
Group B, it was like probably, like in retrospect for Group B, because nobody expected Genji to just shit the bed.
Right, sure. That's like, fine use.
And that's something I think Jat had said was like, Genji just shits the bed.
I agree.
Really
Genji's terrible. What is your chance to get out of Group B for them?
With the Genji being factored in, 50%, because I thought they were about as good as Team Vitality, maybe a little bit better.
They almost lost that Vitality game.
Yeah, for sure.
Vitality threw that game.
So you're saying 100% in one group, 50% in another group, 35% in another. Those are actually, if you look at the other team's odds, fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
so how lucky are they getting then? If you agree that their odds to get out in a lot of these groups are actually good.
Well, I would say they advance in 2 out of the 4 groups. I think TL
and 35%
gets out of 1 of the 4 groups. I think 100T gets out of 0 of the 4 groups. It's just...
So you just admitted that C9 was the best team, not the luckiest team, right?
Yes, but I'm saying it's both. You have to be a good team to take advantage of the situation that you're put into in the first place, and that's why I said C9 for me was the 5th best team coming out of groups, and I think they actually had the best quarterfinal performance. I agree with Kelby on that.
All right.
I think we're going in circles now, but I don't know, Kelby, do you have any thoughts on this?
I mean, I feel like even though Mark, you say you get exactly what he's saying and you just disagree with him, I feel like you guys are kind of agreeing on some points. I see where you're both coming from. I can't really speak to previous years at all. I can only speak to this year. I think that, as you've both said, Cloud9 was the best NA team clearly this year, and but you know what Shampoo is saying is that the reason every year that they're able to make it out is not just because they're good, but because they also have luck with their draws, which is the key to their consistency, I guess, as far as getting out. In addition to their performance.
Yeah, because it's not meant to discredit Cloud9 at all, even though that's hard to say when I'm saying they've been a little lucky. It's just like, because they're still a really good team, and I think arguing against that would be dumb. I just think there's been some years where they haven't been a top 8 team and have been fortunate to get out. And there's been years where they are a top 8 team, and they got out like they should.
Right.
So,
and there's other years groups that they could have gotten into where they could be a top 8 team and not gotten out.
Exactly. Just like I felt like TSM in 2016 and G2 in 2017.
Hey, Shampoo, thank you so much for the call.
No problem.
Yeah,
have a good one.
See you, dude.
Later, man.
Chat fucking loses their minds during this shit. Drives me crazy. They're like, hang up, we don't like this. I think the discussion around, did Cloud9 have a better, more luck over the past however many years, is a fine one to have.
I enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good talk.
I thought it was great.
It's actually an interesting debate, whereas half of our callers are, it's not as refined, or it's either more obvious, yes, we all agree, or this is kind of like an out there opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
go
ahead, Mark.
Where I was going to go with that is if you actually take my approach to what I just did at the end there to every year, what you'll actually probably see is C9 is actually not lucky, and that they have good odds to have gotten out of multiple groups.
Yeah.
Because I
could speak to other years.
If you wanted me to step back into 2017, I could say they get out of probably 3 groups as well. or have odds to. You know, like if you go back and do what I just did every year, you'll actually have C9 getting out of a fair amount of those groups. That was all where I was going to go with that, but we're past that topic now.
Yeah, but it's just
That's a lot
funny
of
to
math.
me because Twitch chat, who I love, you know, they send me the Twitch primes. We got a great relationship, but it drives me crazy because it's so funny because so many people who overwhelmingly shit on Kelby for being annoyed at Nox, or not being annoyed, for being laughing at Nox whenever he predicted C9 to make it to semis a couple weeks ago. That chat is like, hang up on this caller. There's no point in this. What are they talking about? Blah, blah, blah. Kelby, get him, Kelby, blah, blah. Then we have another person. It's like, people just, I mean, this doesn't surprise me, but people don't like it whenever there's an opinion they disagree with. And it's just funny because instead of being like, no, I disagree with it, they're like, hang up, get this guy out of here. He's ruining your show. That was somebody who said something. It just drives me crazy.
I think a lot of the hang-ups are memes for just disagreeing.
The hang-up, I don't mind. The hang-up, I think, is funny. But people will, and this is what I try to get the mods to do. Like, whenever I see people say, this caller is an idiot, that's like a timeout or a ban. Because I just, people should be able to call on here. If they have a hot take, that's fun. It is so boring whenever people want everybody who calls on the show to be like, hey, I think Team Liquid disappointed this year. It's like, yeah, that's fair. All right.
Did they really, though? Who had them getting out of that group?
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
I mean, I did.
Let's move on. We got 2 more callers. Let's see. Kawoobs with the tier 3 sub for 7 months in a row. SOTL sellout. Thank you for the tier 3 sub. That's rad. Berserker, $5. Someone in chat made an interesting point. If Fnatic win Worlds, they didn't have to beat any first seed. Also, thanks for the Worlds content. That's interesting. I didn't even... Modati Kosk with a Twitch Prime sub. Metalol with a Prime sub. Dude, KC 3 months. Hyrook 100 bits. King Philbin 2 months. Kokino who subbed. Casino who subbed. Ferlicalic 2 months. La Loser Boy. I main Kirby 69 and Abiha 1225 who says love the content. Krispy Kreme is here. Krispy Kreme who has gifted a bunch of subs in the past, but that is not why Mark pulls people.
Yeah, absolutely not the reason that this caller's on. I want to make it very clear.
I had no idea.
Definitely not. There's no way that that's possible.
No, but that is actually you guys are all acting sarcastic.
0% chance.
People will actually believe it's true, but the subs go to me. Mark pulls the caller. It's a separate system.
Yeah, Mark has no idea who's subbing to the show.
To be fair, I don't really pay attention, and I don't see one lick of that money that Travis gets from you guys.
Mark. Well,
wait, Travis doesn't pay you?
Not for Twitch subs.
Why are
Mark's
we getting
always asleep during the show?
Travis, can we talk about this? This seems unfair.
We're running out of time on the show.
It seems like Mark is getting 0% of the Twitch subs.
And we know what's wrong with 0%, Travis. To be fair to Travis, we've talked about this, and it's not actually a big deal. We're just trolling.
It's memes.
All memes.
But Mark is out of the call usually when I'm reading subs, so he doesn't know. So it is true. It is true. Krispy Kreme is playing Total War Rome, which is the wrong Total War to play.
Are you playing Rome or Rome 2?
I'm playing Rome right now for the nostalgic feel.
No. I played a shit ton of Rome. So
yeah, Rome was what I grew up on. So
yep, 100. 99%. 99%.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was because of our discussion now, where we talked about getting on the show by subbing, but Kawoobs just subbed, like, I think it was 20. Was it 20 or 30? Some ridiculous amount as we're talking about this. So
put them in the waiting room.
Thank you, Kawoobs, but that's not how it works. Just in case anyone's thinking that's how it works. All right, Krispy Kreme, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Northern Virginia, just outside of D.C.
Nice. All right, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
My topic is about the off-season in North America and what top teams, when I say top teams, I mean the top 4. So TSM, C9, 100 Thieves, and Cloud9. What I think TSM and 100 Thieves need to make some roster changes. And my particular one is 100 Thieves because I'm a 100 Thieves fan. I really like them this year. But I think that they need to pick up Huhi and Stixay on this offseason because I don't think they're going to stick with Cody Sun. And so they need another NA talent in the North American or for ADC. And so I think Stixay is the best idea there. And Huhi because he is a big supportive mid laner. And I think that also unlocks their import slot for Levi in the jungle. And so I think that's the best roster move for 100 Thieves.
All right, Twitch chat. Remember what I just said about being polite to callers. As you catch up and you see this. No. But
they're not saying anything bad. They're just
saying... I know. I'm just warning them. All right.
It's some what faces and some omega lulls, but like whatever.
Okay. They learned. They learned after my threat to them last time. All right. What do you guys think about this?
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
You go, Kelby. That was my initial reaction.
I mean, I think that 100T 99% needs to replace Ryu. I've said that since the start of the season. I'm not a huge fan of him as a mid laner. And I was not really on board with the Huhi selection until you mentioned that it unlocks Levi, which I think is very interesting. Obviously, I think that all of this is predicated on them being able to keep Someday, right? Which is not a given at this point, in my mind. Like, I think a lot of people are going to really target Sunday as an acquisition if his contract's up. I don't know off the top of my head. And he might be a little fed up with how performances have gone there relative to his own. And I like the combo of Afro and Stixay back together, although like they didn't stick together when Afro left CLG. So assuming that their relationship is still good, obviously they've seen success together in the past. If anything were different, I would just be like, is there another NA mid you could get aside from Huhi? I think it would maybe be interesting if they went after Pobe or something like that as well.
The golden child. Golden glue.
Is Someday's contract up? Because I feel like his contract might be up.
I don't think so, but we can check really quick.
Okay, you want to do that while we're...
The whole unlocking Levi thing, in my opinion, is just because I think he's better than Anda.
Yeah.
I would rather
who else
see...
are you going to get?
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is where, I mean, of course, the dream team is you get Bjergsen and double lift on this team, but I don't think that's going to happen. So...
No. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you have to do... you have to do a resident mid, and I think like you could either do. I'm really not a big believer in Huhi. I think if you did this, it would only be to unlock Levi.
What if they get Pobe?
I would rather.
Someday's up this year.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So
Yikes.
I'm not convinced that
Big
Someday
yikes.
will stick around.
Yeah.
He just went to Korea, had this great time in Korea while having a miserable time with 100 Thieves. So I feel like there's a good chance.
But the merch.
He doesn't stick around.
The merch. Yeah, they got that merch money to pay him now, dude.
Yeah.
And Drake. They got Drake money.
We're gonna bump your merch royalty 3%, and that's gonna equate to $5 million a year extra for you.
More smog masks.
Okay, so I think they lose someday. I think they should pick up Pobelter because I feel like there's a 50-50 chance that if TL makes a roster change, it'll be in the mid lane or support lane. So I feel like there's a good chance that Pobelter frees up.
If they drop Pobelter, though, who are they picking up if they don't change their support?
Impact becomes a resident this year, so they could pick up
I didn't
a
know.
mid laner from anywhere. And if they don't keep their support, then they could get an NA support or something like that. There's a lot of different interesting things there. Yeah, Team Liquid Faker, everyone's spamming. They just pick up Faker. There's your answer.
Paid by Steve.
So I think there's a good chance to go there. I have heard, a little tease, but I've heard there's crazy shit going on behind the scenes at Echo Fox this offseason with the org and the company. I think we've already started to see some of that, but I think there's going to be a lot more coming out of it. So I think, I don't know what's going to go on there and what is going to change, but I get the feeling that there's going to be a lot of opportunity to pillage Echo Fox rosters in the
So
offseason.
you think like Hooney, who is rumored to have a relatively large contract, will be up for moving around?
Steve in chat just said, like with Steve in chat.
Oh my god.
To what? To the
I don't know if it
ETL
was to the
faker?
Echo Fox or if it was to the Team Liquid conversation, but
I'm sure it was to the faker.
yeah.
Steve's in Korea, guys. He flew
Right.
there for the World Championships, but
Yeah.
know who else is in Korea? Faker.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of good mids in Korea right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, that BDD guy, he didn't make Worlds.
Yeah.
Rookie, how is IG treating you? You know, like
So I actually hear Rookie loves China, unfortunately for us.
Yeah.
I think he
And
probably also loves money.
He knows
Which
well,
China has more of.
China has money,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure.
Well, I think that China obviously has a shit ton of money, but Steve is the one NA person who could maybe unlock.
Well,
China
I think salaries are going to go down this year in North America, so I don't think that we'll see the contracts be higher than they did last year. I think. I mean, I don't know, but I actually do think that just because I feel like a lot of the I think Optic is like fucking falling apart, and so
You hear that, Steve? Travis thinks you can't get a higher salary roster. He's challenged you. He's calling you out. You don't have the money. You're just all poor now.
That's-
There's no way you could afford better players.
Not what I'm saying, but I'm not sure. I think if overall salary goes down in North America, it might be harder for other people to pick up.
Back to the specific trade. I don't hate Huhi. I think he's a pretty hit or miss player, but he does have his up moments. I think the harder part is getting Stixay away from CLG. I think CLG likes Stixay a lot.
Really?
And I don't know. I assume so. I think Stixay's pretty good. When
The
they
weird
were
things on the Stixay thing is do you think he's pretty good? I feel like he's been.
I think he's he's hot and cold, but when he's hot, I think he's really good. Like that winning streak that they went on in the second half of spring was like all through playing through Stixay, and they ripped off like 7 straight wins, and like obviously Biofrost was a big part of that too, of course. But like, I think he can be pretty good.
He has a title with Aframu.
Yeah. I mean, who he does too. I'm not trying to remake that CLG. I don't know. I don't think it would work, but I think Stixay is a pretty good player, and I would be fine with him being on a team that I was working with. But like, I just don't think CLG is going to give him up. I think they see Biofrost and Stixay as like they're kind of like core guys to build around next year. But I could be wrong.
You okay, Travis?
I'm plugging in the power to my my camera so it doesn't die.
Well, that's good.
What? I'm in a fucking hotel in Tokyo.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, I said my piece. I'm out of things to say. You're
Okay,
working
so
with your camera.
yeah, I just disagree.
The show's over.
I don't think you get Huhi because I don't think Huhi's going to lead the charge to Worlds. I don't think it's Froggen either, by the way, guys. I think you probably pick up Pobelter if he becomes free. I don't know if you reunite Stixay and Aframu because I just like that. I don't know. After 2016, I don't think I ever saw like amazing stuff out of that lineup. I think you lose some days, so you're trying to figure out what to do in that lane. You might maybe get Hooney.
Yeah, when I didn't realize originally that Sunday's contract is up this year.
Yeah.
And so it was really based on Sunday staying and having Huhi a more roaming mid laner, be able to help Sunday up top. So I think it definitely changes with Sunday being gone.
The weird thing about 100 Thieves is like everyone kept wanting them to play through Someday, and they didn't play through Someday ever at Worlds. And like I don't think that roster is like just full of dumb people who don't want to play through Someday who's a good player. So like I think they probably tried that in scrims and couldn't do it for some reason. So I don't know what it was about Someday that they couldn't carry through. But losing him might actually not be that bad if you want to play a top focus style. Like if you do get Hooney. But Hooney also had a really crappy summer.
Yeah. So here are my predictions for the off season. Either Pobelter or Ole leaves Team Liquid, maybe both. This is no insider information on this stuff, by the way, guys. Well, at least on the Team Liquid stuff. Optic, I don't even know what's happening over there, but that looks like a shit show. I don't even know. Like, I've said on the show in the past that I've heard that the teams have to stay in the league for 2 years, but it feels like they want to get out. Like, that I don't even know what's happening there. So I don't know what opens up with all their players, or if somebody comes in and tries to get that slot if Riot allows it. Echo Fox, I'm hearing a ton of instability from that organization and company. And so we'll see what happens there. But that could open up some interesting opportunities. And everything else I don't know. All right. Any other thoughts, Krispy Kreme?
Nope.
Yeah. What I would say is, this might be a hot take as well, but if Huni you think is, or Echo Fox has instability, you think there's a chance of Huni and Reignover being reunited? Because I don't know if CLG wants to keep him around. If they get, that is, if 100 Thieves gets a resident mid laner. That's their 2 import slots there. Top jungle with the reunite.
I don't know. It's so hard to bet on Reignover.
I don't know if they do or don't.
Oh, sorry, Darshan.
Yeah, I knew who. I would be hesitant to like take a risk on Reignover plus Huni, because like Reignover's looked really bad and Huni was still mostly Huni with Dardoch. So like, does Huni need Reignover like Reignover needs Huni? Doesn't seem like it.
And Reignover takes an import slot.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like I would not want to. If I was a GM, I would not want to take a risk on like rekindling some magic from 2 years ago when both those guys look worse.
Is Reignover the least impactful import slot from a cost perspective?
Well, it's hard when we don't actually know the cost of all these guys.
Well, I mean, we know he's expensive.
Maybe. I don't know what Arrow's contract is, but maybe.
Nizagi says, I have a question for John from Valve. When does Half-Life 3 come out? That's a Kelby got on top of the Dota subreddit the other day and was very proud of it for role-playing somebody from Valve. All right. Thank you, Krispy Kreme, for the call.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Here we go.
Thanks, dude.
Okay, one more call to go. People are saying Ryu was least impactful. Captain Obesity with the Prime. Oh, wait. I missed a couple people. XX Hayes for 5 months. Kugi Monster, Prime. Karubs gifted a sub to Fish of Legends, and Natty Ferg with Prime. And again, thank you to Karubs for gifting. Was it 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it might have been like 25 actually. It's hard to, I can't even see anymore. But that's amazing. So many gifted subs tonight. Wow. By the way, everyone, stick around after the show, because I am going to do a bounty, a Twitch bounty. If you stick around, that really helps me out, because the more people that watch it, the more the bounty pays out. And,
all right, so
I'm going to gift subs and RP cards. All right, what were you going to say, Mark?
I can't hear Synthetica's microphone.
Yeah.
But it lights up green, so it might be the same problem as before. Can you guys hear?
Can you say something? Nope.
Yeah, he's talking. I can't hear him.
That's so weird.
Do I have to rejoin?
Because Discord can. Yeah, maybe Synthetica can rejoin.
Yeah, maybe Synthetica.
Oh wait. I heard a hello.
That was me. I was checking to see.
No,
if
Synthetica. I heard a different voice. Say something, Synthetica.
Oh really?
No.
Travis is trolling. Synthetica, can you quit and then join Pleb Calls 2 and I'll drag you back in? You press the hang up thing.
Thank you to Steve, who just sent 5,000 bits to the stream. Paid by Steve. That's a lot of commitment to the meme, by the way, when you drop $50 on a show. But now
Steve, you need to
Steve is the bit leader.
Steve, you
Anyone
need
here
to
Synthetica?
save that money for your roster, man.
Synthetica, no, I don't know why your mic is muting up. Or maybe you can. Do you want to just type here? I'm going to message you, and you can just type your topic to me. Hi.
Yeah, it's lighting green. We just can't hear it. So.
But then we can't have a back and forth discussion with the caller.
I know, but I feel bad for it's the last caller. We can just do this.
Yeah, I feel bad for keeping them in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Synthetica is sending us. Thank you to Crazy Baboon who subbed, Surge2009 who gifted a sub to Matt Chai, Natty Ferg and Nazagi for the 400 bits. Steve is trying. I think what it is, Steve sent the bits to try to show that he could pay. He has the money. That's
Gotcha.
what we're realizing. He can spare 50 because he already got Faker taken care of. That's what they're saying in chat. Tell him to quit and restart Discord.
Oh,
hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is my mic quality okay?
Yeah,
It's fine.
Okay, great, awesome.
Well, welcome to the show. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Vermont.
Vermont. All right. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
Just a second.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about how in this year's Worlds, Korea really, I think everyone can see they really failed to read and then adapt to the meta. And that is like a huge failing on their part, but I don't think that necessarily means that the gap is closed once and for all.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so you think that their failure was all it came down to just the meta. They couldn't keep up with the meta.
Yeah, I think if you were to like give this current meta a year and just leave things on hold and not do any major updates, next year we would see Korea adapt and probably do well again. It's just this year they came in and they didn't have a good read and they lost and they weren't able to adapt, which I think that's a big failing on their part because if you look at a team like Cloud9, they did see what was actually working and they pivoted right away. So I think you can still hold it against Korea, but I don't think it means that they're worse.
Yeah.
So I do think that the meta, part of it was them not adapting for sure. I think they had an idea of how they wanted to do things, and it didn't work out. I think Gen G is an exception from that. I think Gen G was straight bad, and they were probably going to struggle to perform in a Worlds where like mid lane feels so important, and Kuro's their mid laner. So maybe they're the exception, but for the other two teams, I feel like KT read the meta pretty well. They just got outperformed. But I do agree with the point that I don't necessarily believe the gap is like permanently closed or anything like that. And like next year, we couldn't easily see 3 Korean teams getting out of groups and like, Crown, excuse me, not Kuro. Kuro wasn't great either, but yeah, Crown is obviously the turret in the mid lane. But yeah, I think I don't believe the gap is closed, but I do think this meta is the worst it could like be for Korea, where it's so early game and fight focused, where like that is exactly kind of what LPL had been really good at for a long period of time.
Do you think they couldn't learn to play like that?
I think they could, but that's not, at least historically, what we've seen from Korea be their biggest strength. Like, I don't think...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no, you go.
I was just saying, because like, I think if you look at the way North American LCS went this year, we were seeing a lot of that same style we kind of see in Korea. Like, the junglers were all Sejuani and Trundle for a while. It was very much that slower scale-up style. And C9 had that coming into Worlds, but then like just a couple days in the groups, they were like, okay, we need to change everything, and they did. And none of the Korean teams were really able to do that.
Yeah, I think like, you know, Korea had a bad read on this specific patch, but what my larger point was like, the historical dominance that Korea has had over regions was largely due to the fact that they made better decisions around vision control and played the map better. Mm-hmm. But a significant portion of this meta is not that. It's about your mechanics and your ability to 1v1 and play skill matchups and stuff like that, and then skirmish and team fight and A-ram down mid. Everyone's memeing about A-ramming down mid, but like there's so many fights around mid lane. And so while I do think Korea could adapt to the meta and play it very well, it's not in line with their historic strengths over other regions.
Right. Do you feel like we've talked about this on previous shows, Mark, but because vision is not like something that you can control as to such a significant degree in this meta that it is part of the reason that's contributed to the factor that Korea is weaker now?
Can you rephrase that? Sorry.
So because we've talked about this previously, but like it seems like the map is darker now. You're not as able to control vision as much as you were before, and because of that, as you just said, like a lot of what Korea excelled at before was owning the map and playing around it with those advantages and playing the macro style really strong because you see it. But if it's not a factor, like is that what's leading in part to their downfall?
Yeah, I think so, because if you look at Worlds historically, a lot of the times, like, the Korean teams aren't necessarily actually setting the meta. Like, a lot of other regions often do things, and then, like, Korea kind of adapts and brings it their own, and the fact that they have these other advantages through vision and map play, that, like, then they just start smashing people. But, like, you know, Worlds last year, it was China that brought out the Caitlyn pick, which ended up being such a monstrous force, right? And I think those are the kinds of things that other regions do because Korea is better. Like, they're always the ones pushing the meta. Not always, I should say. Like, Korea does make their own adaptations, but it doesn't always feel like Korea shits on the world because they read the meta better. I think there's been multiple points in different tournaments, not just Worlds, at MSIs and things like that. When CLG made their historic run, they were the only one playing range supports, and Korea came in playing melee, and then they adapted, and they played... eventually the range support's better, but like what gives them the leg up is that even when they're wrong in the meta, they're still playing the game better in these other aspects. And that part might be gone.
So is the gap closed?
I don't know. It depends, like, because this meta can change, right? So I would say in this meta, it has shrunk the gap down significantly, as well as the fact that the Korean teams did not come in. I don't think they sent their best representatives. I don't think that they played the meta particularly well, and I don't think this meta particularly suits them. I think those are the three things for why they didn't perform this Worlds, and two of those three could easily change come next year's Worlds.
Yeah.
I don't think this tournament was a fluke. I don't think it is necessarily indicative of long-term performance.
Exactly. I'm not saying any of this is a fluke for sure.
Right. I think what's interesting to me, and I wonder if it is at all a factor, is the fact that like Korea as a whole throughout the year has looked less strong as a region compared to how they have historically. And like a lot of what NA and EU teams in particular have done in the past is just like, well, we just got to get as close to like Korea as we can, you know, like and just try and copycat them. Whereas like maybe because Korea has looked so much weaker by contrast, it allows like a Vitality or C9 to really embrace and open up to like not playing the way that Korea is playing.
Yeah, I think LPL was making a pretty strong case prior to this that they had kind of caught up, right, with like the fact that they had beaten them at the Asia Games, at Rift Rivals, and at MSI were like the three big ones.
Yeah.
And it was like RNG who was mostly doing the heavy lifting at those. So it was like tough to say how much was RNG, how much was actually LCK. But I think you can make a case that you could see this kind of coming a little bit from further away, and it's hard to say if that was just LPL, if that was the whole world encroaching on Korea. I don't have a very strong opinion on that. I actually don't know.
Very good.
That's not very sexy, but yeah, I have no fucking clue.
So
I mean,
go ahead, Kelby.
Yeah, it's just like nobody from the outside really saw this coming at all, right? Like none of the analysts, none of like anybody was making predictions that this would happen. And I still haven't even in my conversations with Doublelift like ascertained whether or not he thought based on scrims it would really go this way, because I think that historically like Western teams have still done fine in scrims leading into Worlds, right? And then it's just a matter of translating it to stage. But I don't know if even like the players saw like this coming. Like they walked out on stage and like they felt like super confident that it was going to be different this time.
I do remember hearing a lot of the players thought that C9 was going to be a free guy.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I heard that C9 had like even TL had like, even though it didn't translate, a pretty dramatic shift where like they were kind of getting pooped on for a little while, and then like the last week or so of scrims for them like kind of came together, but obviously it didn't work out for TL and seems to have worked out for C9. So who knows how much weight to put on scrims.
Right. Synthetic, any other final thoughts?
I think that's it. Just wanted to have a shout out to the chat. Love you guys too.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, Synthetica.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for being on.
All right. So that's the show. Nobody leave, because I'm gonna give some subs at the end of this and give some RP out, and I need you to stay because it helps me with the bounty that I'm gonna do right after. But let's do the wrap up. Mark, anything that you want to say? Anything you want to plug?
Nope. I'm going to TwitchCon. If you see me there, you can say hello. I will acknowledge you. A picture may be taken if you request it. Yes.
Mark and I are doing Hotline League. Hopefully Kelby is there too. If you guys listen, this is only on Kelby. If he's not there, you guys know why. It's because Kelby decided not to be there. But Hotline League Friday 4 to 6 at the Alienware stage. We'll be broadcasting it live on the stream if everything goes well. And yes, please come because we need people to go up on stage and like talk to us. So please be there because it would suck.
Oh,
if you weren't.
it's 4 to 6 Alienware booth officially. So
Yes.
that's the time.
Yes. Because the convention hall closes at 6. So
We should have an announcement tweet before the day of so people can like plan.
yeah, I agree.
You should tweet that tomorrow.
Also, a while ago, I retweeted, and maybe you can go hit up Ateo as well. But Ateo's doing if you are going to TwitchCon, they're doing like a meet and greet thing that I'll probably go hang out at after, because I think they're doing it Friday, so it would be after the show's done. But go check that out, and you can come hang out. There's other streamers that are going to be there as well, and that should be like a pretty fun little chill party event thing. Kelby, what do you got for us?
Saturday.
I think
Friday.
I think their thing is Friday.
Our thing.
Our thing is Friday.
Oh, we're Friday. Okay.
If it's 4 to 6 on Friday, I actually think it's very likely right now.
Well, I did that because you said that was like the best chance we had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Teo streamer meet and greet is from 4 to 10. So go to Hotline League, and then after Hotline League gets out, go to the Teo streamer meet and greet. And we can just bring everybody over there. Anyway, Kelby, you got any plugs? Anything?
Yeah, I would just it would be cool if a lot of you came and asked us questions in person.
Oh, so Kelby's going.
Live
Confirmed.
Live at TwitchCon. I've never done a live one before, so I think that would be an interesting dynamic. And yeah, I'm just I would give a shout out to Worlds this year because it's been super entertaining, and I've really appreciated watching League again.
Cool.
There's a beer garden at TwitchCon, and historically, we get drunk at live Hotline Leagues.
I don't know if we can have alcohol at the Alienware thing. I don't. We'll talk about it later.
We'll look into it.
Okay. And I didn't get drunk at that Hotline League. Everybody else did. All right, cool. Everyone stick around. This has been Hotline League episode. Thanks for watching. Oh, I've got stuff still hitting the channel. I'm going to be at TwitchCon. It's going to be great. If you want to be really angry that I'm not at Worlds, I understand it. There's a video explaining why on my YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone, for calling in. Thank you, everyone, for the subs. Nick Allen says, so maybe Nick Allen can be... Actually, I don't think Nick Allen's going to TwitchCon, but otherwise maybe he could go. I don't know why owners are all saying in chat. Shout out to Geo Pirate, who sent 5,001 bits to beat out Liquid. We know who really is paying people. It's Geo Pirate. Stick around for the bounty. That's the show.